Yeah, hello, good evening. Welcome to the middle of the week. Hope for anyone in the States that y'all had a good Memorial Day holiday, and for everyone else, I hope y'all had a good weekend, and for everyone in general, just I hope you had a good start to the week. My week was off to a pretty good start. Made myself, for this week, I figured I would go for like a cookout style themed dinner, so I just did my usual fallback of pasta salad, hot dogs, and potato chips, right? Some of the food you would expect at a cookout. Or I could fancy things up with like maybe shish kebabs or burgers, maybe like lettuce salad, but it's a batch of food that I'm particularly proud of, right? Like, before I did the mac and cheese bake, pasta salad would be like one of those kinds of foods that I would easily make and bring to like a potluck or something like that, right? Because I can make it good and it also looks good, right? That's like the two parts of it, right? I mean, food tasting good should always be the priority, but presentation can matter too. Food that doesn't look as good, even if it is absolutely delicious, probably won't win as many people over, right? Good evening! Good evening, Molecular Shadow Fox. It is good to see you as always. How are you doing? Hope you are having a good start to your week as well. But yeah, before that, right, apart from this weekend, it was, I just went and visited some friends and family. That's why I was off. But it was a good time, right? One of my cousins is like a big old cinephile, and he had like a whole bunch of Glenn Powell movies lined up for us to watch, and they were all good. Oh, I enjoyed them. I think, what was it? I forget what the first one was named. It was like a romantic comedy with him and someone else. And the second was called The Hitman, which was very amusing. And then the third one was Twisters. Sequel to Twister, came out last year, and people actually took to it pretty well. And I thought it was like pretty good myself, as someone who never saw Twister. But from what I've read, Twisters is pretty standalone from Twister. You don't need to watch Twister to understand Twisters. So that's all good, right? Yeah, you do eat with your eyes first, right? And visuals do matter, right? If something doesn't look particularly appetizing, your mind's just gonna kind of make that connection, right? As justified or unjustified it might be, it's gonna be hard to shake, On the other hand, I mean, sure, yeah, don't knock it till you tried it, but, well, when you only got like so much mind space and stomach space and willpower, you gotta spend it wisely, Not bad. Some post-con depression, it's like, oh, I get that feel, right? It's the worst, right? You spend like 3 or 4 days in what may as well be like the most amazing time ever, having the time of your life. You're just like, man, this is where I belong. And you gotta go back to life, right? You gotta go back to your dull, boring-ass life where exciting stuff does not happen 24/7. On the other hand, that's like what makes those things extra special, right? That's why you gotta value them as much as you can, and it's a nice balance to things, I imagine too. Unless you're like someone who can keep up that energy all the time, it's having a moment of calm might be helpful, right? Reminds me of like an old special. I think it was like a Sesame Street special where I forget, it was like some characters or kids, I think, was wished that was Christmas every day, right? Yeah, Christmas, right? Gifts and the coolest day ever. But with Christmas happening every day, they kind of got tired of it, right? Because it's like, well, getting presents once in a while is extra special, but if you're getting presents every day, then it just becomes normal, right? And then there's like a whole bunch of other problems surrounding that, but yeah, the main takeaway is that special days are special because they're a special event, right? They don't happen often. That's why you gotta value them while they last, right? The only time you see some peeps like once a year, yeah, that's part of it, I imagine, right? You're not gonna see them for a whole year, right? Next time you see them, they're gonna be a year older. Things might change. They might. Hopefully, they've managed to progress in their life some way or another. But that means you have a whole lot of stories to tell too, right? A whole lot of stories you can just pick out from the year, get your best ofs and most memorable moments. Again, times to cherish, right? You gotta hang on to the memories, and while they're happening, you gotta live up those moments, you know. Much like our current moment here that we're in the middle of, right? Grid 2019 DLC. I think I'm back into it. Yeah, game's solid, so I'm having an enjoyable time revisiting this DLC here. And last we left off, where we got through a little bit. Well, actually, we got through a lot of the classic series, where we're just like right at the end here, right? 3 extra long events to go, and then we'll make some inroads into modern, right? Sound like a plan? Why don't we continue our run? Why don't we see the classics off, right? Go to Classic GT. And we're back in the Toblerone car. Big shock, the con raised, 45,000 pounds for charity. That's wonderful. Always a worthy cause to donate to charity. Especially if it's like a volunteer organization too, right? It's like, oh, they could use that money for themselves, but yeah, they're given to other folks who might need it. That's commendable. I mean, there's other aspects to it too, but you know.
And here we are for the first round, Kristen. How are you feeling about this one?
Look, I feel like it's taken these drivers a long...
And I've just been told
we're
the
getting
race
into it.
is seconds away from lights out.
The art auction alone got 22 grand. Damn! That's like half of the money right there. Woo! Must have had some real good art. I mean, every art piece is like real good art, but, you know, they had a lot of people vying for it. What kind of auction was it? Was it like a live auction where you had everyone standing in a crowd pulling up numbers, or was it like one of those silent auctions where you go in every now and then and name your price and then come back a few hours later to see if you got outbid or something? I have to imagine it's probably the latter. I feel like most cons do something like that. Live auction. Oh, it was a live auction. Okay. Fun times. Enjoyable chaos. I imagine it really helps kind of drive people to vie for those art pieces too. If they have to do it in real time. Super cute this year. It was for husky sled dogs. They had them there, so floofy and cute. Oh man. More ways to encourage you, huh? And again, huskies are super adorable, so I'm sure they were very, very welcome. Any excuse to bring in animals as long as they're adorable and yeah, it's a positive thing, right? Sled dogs, huh? Man. That's quite the job they got there. You gotta run through the snow, through the wilderness. You gotta work as a group. You gotta be on your game the whole time. Right. Even one stubborn sled dog probably could spell trouble, or at least a delay, I imagine. You managed to drink the hotel out of all their supplies of Coke. Soda. It's a great travel drink. At least it's Coke, right?
A lot of rain out there.
Coke is delicious. Well, I wouldn't say delicious, but I would drink it.
3
It's
laps
good.
to go.
You know, I'm not gonna guzzle it, but regular Coke I enjoy. I really like cherry Coke. Orange vanilla Coke I also dig. I think there's like Coke with lime too. I thought that was alright. Coke plus fruit flavor basically is probably sell me on it a lot, basically. Oh, food stats. They always give that at the end of the closing ceremony. Fun. Oh, that's gotta be some fun stuff. Were there any other interesting food stats that came out, like either this year or previous years? Like, you have like a stats on like how many bags of chips were eaten, or like how many hot dogs ordered, or something along those lines. Food, it's always like the thing that can bring people together.
Okay, you got 2 laps.
Yeah, for multiple reasons, and kind of fun, just like sharing. Hey, what kind of foods do you like, or what kind of foods are popular where you come from? You know. One thing I'm trying to do more often is like maybe not make fun of other people's food choices, because hey, right? Even if it's not my thing, well, they enjoy it, right? Maybe it's something they're accustomed to, something they like. I'm like, you know, we'll try to understand it, right? Because it's fun to learn about new things. And sure, it would suck to discourage them from continuing to share their unique experiences, right? kilograms of bacon, 140 kilograms of sausages, 5 tons of baked beans. Holy moly! Bacon and sausages I get, right? That sounds like a breakfast kind of dealio. Or I guess in the case of sausages, you could also make that like a lunch / dinner.
Hold the lead. Last lap.
Yeah, put it in a sandwich. Well, I guess bacon would work too for like the BLT or like a bacon burger or something along that. But still, yeah, a lot of meat. That does not surprise me. Baked beans, oh man. I like some good baked beans, so it's probably pretty cool. Until delivered big time. Yeah, good on them for being able to bring that much food out, right? They know who they're catering to, and they managed to pull through, right? Since this year's con is done, it's time to start thinking about next year's con, right? Oh man, what are you gonna do? What rooms are you gonna take? What's gonna be your itinerary? And who knows? Maybe after a certain point, if like things change up, right? We can perhaps explore some other angles too, right? 25 tons of ice cream, most of which was for milkshakes. Oh yeah, gotta love a good milkshake. Did they specify flavors, or is it just like 25 tons of ice cream in general? Because hey, vanilla milkshakes are good, but I can imagine people wanting other kinds of milkshakes too, right? Like strawberry or chocolate, or maybe like a more out there kind of flavor. Birthday cake. Yeah, I know there's more than that. Just in general, okay. Still a lot of milkshakes and ice cream. They announced next year's theme. It's like pretty similar to some of the other cons I go to, right? They'll usually have like some sort of teaser for what next year's theme is gonna be. Pretty fun. Trying to remember if PAX does that. Then again, PAX really doesn't go with like an overarching theme too much. usually only exists in like their pins and maybe their
Everybody,
programs
you're
that
making
they
a
give
lot
out to
of noise
everyone.
there. But can you make some noise once more for Kristen? Fantastic. And on that,
You know, apart from it being started by the Penny Arcade guys, it's not like PAX really has a defined mascot. I guess unless you count the merch fella from I guess that could be a kind of mascot, right? Well, that's more of a mascot for Penny Arcade and not for like PAX. Had visions of a convoy of trucks turning up to prepare for the con. Probably was like that, right? Probably like the week before, they had trucks coming in with all the materials they need to kind of, you know, put together the sets and put out the displays and, you know, get everything ready. That way, by the time everyone gets there, all the trucks and stuff are already gone and they're ready for the general pedestrian traffic, both foot and vehicle, coming on in. Works pretty well. The theme this year was Fashion Week. There was a proper fashion show with a catwalk and everything proper slang, and holy moly. Dude, that sounds fantastic. That's really cool. Ah, man. Yeah, I imagine people probably were killing it out there. Wow. It's a good excuse to just go out in your best evening wear. Or just, like, do some really out there designs, right? Just, like, parody the actual fashion shows, which have, like, the most esoteric of outfit designs. That's like, yeah, no one's actually gonna wear this in real life, but it does stand out on the runway. I had admit, one of the outfit ideas I'm planning for way in the future is like a formal outfit, right? Like a formal party style thing. I have several ideas of what I want it to be.
Good start.
It's like,
In the lead.
which one do I pick, right? There's like tons of different styles I could go for. But I could probably do all of them, but like, what would my first one be, right? Which one would be most evocative of, or what would be most fitting for my VTuber character? Of course, I got like a bunch of other outfits further up in my line in my thoughts, so it'll be a while before I seriously hunker down and think about it. But hopefully that goes right. Like those chainmail dresses and stuff I've seen on catwalks, I'm like, where would you wear this? Like, seriously. Yeah, right? It's like, okay, great. It will certainly draw attention on the runway, but as for an everyday outfit, or like even like a once in a while outfit, that's gonna be a hard sell. I don't know, I imagine trying to wear something like that, right? Even if they have like the most lightweight of metal, that thing's gonna weigh pretty hard, I imagine. Right, you like finish for the day and you take it off and like, oh my god, my shoulders are so freaking sore. Ah. Also very breezy. I imagine they probably wear some sort of underdress, right? They're not gonna just put that on its own. It's always the thing about chainmail, right? You don't want to put that directly onto your skin unless you like.
You're through the halfway point.
Your skin getting pinched like 1,000 times over. Is there any way to make chainmail in like such a way that it's less likely to pinch your skin? 'Cause I feel like the first person who can figure out a technique to do that would probably revolutionize the chainmail market, right? Something under it, so that you don't get like super pinched, but they can make like a pinch-free chainmail. That's going to be a game changer, you know.
Final lap. Keep that lead intact.
You'd have like to have participated in a Decker's outfit or something. Ooh. Yeah, I can see like the more cyberpunk style anime. Tech wear. That's another kind of outfit I want to do. Like maybe way in the future. It'd be like a what if, right? Like, oh, what if my character were in a more tech-oriented universe, right? I think my current character is like more of a fantasy setting, right? Fantasy lore themed. We're on brand for you, something synthwave. Yeah, that's true. Get like a lot of neon, especially if it's like a warm pastel-y kind of style. Gotta make sure you have like the sun with the lines through it, and maybe a palm tree. Oh, and grid lines like going into the distance as well. Yeah. Could take a leaf out of Horizon's book and incorporate a power glove. Haha. Gotta love the power gloves. They're so bad. Those things, that used to be like a thing you saw a lot, right? Like the cool glove. The glove that like did a lot of things, right? It's like, oh yeah, there's a gun in here, also it can hack stuff, oh, and maybe shoot something from its palms, or maybe it's got a blade on it. I guess the idea of just like having all these tools just like right there in your hand is probably what people dug about it, right? It's like, oh yeah, you need something done here. Let me check out my power glove and see if I got something to fit, right? Reminds me of Devil May Cry 5. So that was like Nero's mechanic, right? He had like a whole bunch of arm weapons that he could swap out. You know, they all did their thing. They could shoot rockets or guns or other stuff, but there were some others that were for the amusement factor. I think there's one that was like a mixer arm or something like that, you know? Fun stuff. Don't know which worked worse, the Power Glove, the Virtual Boy.
What have our drivers got in store today?
That is a toss-up. Because they were both pretty bad at what they were trying to do, right? Like the Power Glove was especially ineffective at turning your hand into a controller, and the Virtual Boy was very ineffective at giving you like that virtual reality experience. neither of them really got that far either, if I remember correctly. That being said, if I remember correctly, like, one of them effectively ended, like, a guy's career. Like, they didn't get fired, but they were kind of kicked up to a position where they really couldn't do anything. And that was basically just trying to drive him to quit, which is like, same effect, right? I think that was the Virtual Boy that happened, right? What was it? I think the guy's name was like Gunpei Yokoi or something. Like such a failure that they were like, okay, we're gonna promote you, in air quotes, to a position where
Maybe
you
stay out
can't
of
do
the farm.
jack
Don't
squat.
get taken out.
Bummer. Where that happened. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, right? I could be mistaken about all of this. And there's the black plastic ring thingy that Sega did for fighting games. Oh, was it like the activator or something? I think my older brother actually had one of those. From a collector standpoint, right? He didn't actually use it or anything, but yeah, right? It's like conceptually, it was like, oh yeah, you're gonna like get to mimic the moves in real life and they will translate into moves on the screen, but the execution of it was not that. It was not even remotely close to that. If I remember correctly, there was like a mat that the NES had as well that they sold with the track and field game, right? Basically, you turned all the inputs into like a, you know, like pressure pads that you could step on, but you know, the intent was to try to emulate things on screen, and they kind of did, but also kind of didn't. The one I remember was like a track and field game that you had to repeatedly press A and B to run, and that pretty much translated you to like stomping on the A and B buttons on the pad to run forward. You could see what they were going for, right? You could see what they were going for, but makes me think of those mats that you could get for DDR. I had a friend who was like super into DDR when I was in school, right? It's like back when malls were big and I would go by the arcade and he would be there by the DDR machines, just stomping arrows, as they would call it, right? They were stomping arrows. Yeah, it's not like anything close to actual dancing. It was basically like a rhythm game with a fancy way to do inputs, but it's what they had, and the pretty big community came out of it, as far as I can tell. Like, I still keep in touch with that friend, and he's still friends with some of the guys he met way back then around that crowd, so hey. In fact, he was like so into DDR. I remember he actually made like he sought out people making like homemade mats for it, right? Like he found people who were doing that, right, and would do like the solid supports and everything, and when we would have parties too, he would bring those out and we would just have fun, like, you know, doing like the console versions of DDR and stuff. It was fun times, right? Track and field also causes so much carpal tunnel. Oh yeah. Any game that makes you mash buttons probably had that happen, right? I wonder if that's why old school controllers were built tough as hell. I mean, they probably do that. Kids would potentially be handling it a lot, so they were like, okay, yeah, we got to build it on the off chance they get tossed around and everything. And that was like back when they also built products to last too, right? They weren't so concerned about like cutting corners to save a couple bucks. Also, imagine the electronics being simpler, probably had a hand in that too, right? It's like, you know, back then controllers were like a circuit board and a couple of components around a plastic casing, so you probably had resources and room to make those as hardy as it could be. And these days, it's like, well, you got that, but you probably also got like motors and maybe more sensitive inputs and all sorts of more sensitive components to go with it, so even if they do try their best to make it as sturdy as they can within a certain budget, there's only so much they can do. Not to say that they don't succeed ever. Right, my old Xbox 360 controller that I used for my PC. I used it for a very long time. And it still kind of sort of works, right? Still a bit of stick drift, but for the most part,
First lap, you're leading the race.
it's as good as the day I bought it. I'm using a new controller now, but that old one, it's been through a lot. We've been through a lot of things together, you know. NES, SNES, and Mega Drive controllers are the toughest ever built. There's a reason why Nintendium is a meme, right? Like the old school Nintendo components can take a heck of a beating and still work. Right? There's the one famous Game Boy that came out looking like it saw like the end of the world or something and still runs just fine. I think it's on display in like one of the Nintendo World stores now. Pretty insane to think about, right? Only have to drop an Xbox controller and it'll crack apart. Yeah, that's what I was saying, right? Admittedly, the reason why my 360 controller probably lasted as long as it did is that I didn't, like, I wasn't too rough with it, right? I wasn't, like, tossing it around the room or anything. Yeah, I'm not, like, slamming the sticks left and right or anything like that. Same, third-party one I got from Amazon is still kicking. It's seen through 3 Horizon games.
The halfway stage of the race.
So you two have also been through a lot. Talk about controllers, though. Reminds me, I forget which magazine it was, but they used to run like a controller boot camp or endurance test or whatever they called it, but they're basically, you know, testing which controller could withstand the most abuse, right? You know, it started out as like a generally helpful consumer thing, right? It's like, oh yeah, if you're looking for a good durable controller, get these, but I think they realized after a certain point they were getting so much more extreme with the stuff they did, right? It's like, at the start, it was like reasonable tests, like, oh, we'll drop this from a certain height, or, you know, we'll hit this with a hammer or something, and by the end, they were like, yeah, we put these controllers on a hockey rink, and we let some hockey players just hit it full force with the hockey stick. And you're like, well, yeah, after a point, it stops being about actually testing the durability of the controllers and just being more of a spectacle, right? More of how do we top ourselves from last year's controller test, right? And they eventually just, like, stopped doing it. Because it was like, oh, well, we kind of lost the plot there. Maybe we'll just let it go.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
Some of those older controllers for defunct consoles are some of the worst ergonomics ever. Some odd design decisions, right? Like, you look back at things like, say, the N64 controller, or the original Xbox controller, or the Dreamcast controller, and like, okay. Yeah, there were some elements here and there. It's like, why did they go with that, right? What was their reasoning for it? Like, why 3 prongs? Why is the wire on the bottom? Why is this thing so goddamn large? You know? Like, I'm all for unique designs and stuff, but yeah, comfort is definitely a factor that you have to consider, considering that most people will be holding a controller for a long time. It's probably a good thing that it seems like people have mostly found a setup that works, right? Like, for the most part these days, like, controller molds are pretty standardized now, which I guess, depending on how you look at it, it's like better or worse. I think it's fine. I'd say the only really unique controller designs now is still just like PlayStation, but then again, they probably lucked into a design that just is comfy to begin with, so they have no reason to change it, right? Still have my Mad Cat 6-button controller for Mega Drive. Had that since like '95. Oh my god, my face when I realized Mad Catz was around since '95. Atari Jaguar. Whew. Is Mad Catz still around? I know they were having trouble some time back. I don't know if they managed to survive that or if they've gone out of business. Kind of a bummer. I remember hearing about them a lot, right? Like, if there was ever a market for third-party controllers, chances are you're probably Mad Catz was going to be one of them. Certainly don't hear about him as much these days, so. There we go. Another event. Done. Almost there. 2 more classic events, and then we'll have the classic division finished. Turbo button was so handy for those strength tests on Mortal Kombat. Ah, the turbo toggle. I missed that. But like, most modern controllers don't have a turbo setting. At least I don't feel like they do. I think it's because like more games have incorporated like some sort of, you know, like an anti-cheat measure if they detect that you're rapidly pressing the button more than the human limit will allow, then they kind of ding you one way or another, so I guess it becomes a toss-up whether that'll be handy or not.
And here we are for the first round, Kristen.
Just a stealth bomber full of red buttons.
I feel like it's taken these drivers a long...
Bright idea of Philips, etc. with the 3DO controller to daisy chain the second controller into the cable to first. Yeah, it's a bizarre design decision. I guess their reasoning was that, well, if you're gonna have 2 players, then might as well put a port there anyway, right? Fewer ports on the console, which I guess saves money somehow. I don't know. It certainly would be awkward, though. Something astigmatism lights. Hello, Gunter Maxwell. How are you? Oh, astigmatism. The thing that makes night driving dangerous sometimes. Oh, jeez. Really sucks when you're trying to drive and all you see is just bright light bursts everywhere. Couldn't even be bothered to add a port, right? Goes back to the corner cutting. The thing was, back then, if they tried to cut corners, they felt it more, right? Because people had other options. These days, it's like, oh yeah, a company cuts corners. Well, it sucks, but what recourse is there? until a good alternative pops up that starts their lunch, you know. The thing is huge as it is. Just chilling.
Good start. Hold the
It's good to
lead.
hear. It's good to chill, right? It's good to have a period of calm. And sometimes a driving game is just the kind of thing you need, right? Like a little virtual driving through some roads to kind of put things in perspective. Racetrack or city or country driving or otherwise. On the subject of that, has anyone played a game called Keep Driving? It's like a road trip light. Right? It's a lot of inventory management, a bit of like a kind of a skill building, and all themed around a road trip. And I remember playing a demo for it for Next Fest, and oh man, I was all into it. Just so chilled and relaxing in a way to kind of translated all the elements of a road trip into video game mechanics. Was give that a go. One day, right? One day. A chill night before your birthday tomorrow. Well, happy early birthday. Another year, another birthday. Hope it will be a great time filled with
Okay, you're halfway through the race.
fun times and around friends and loved ones, you know? Indeed, even driving in GTA and other car-based games are nice. Yeah, right? Sometimes you want to get in and cause mayhem. Sometimes you just want to freaking explore, right? Sometimes you just want to explore. Can't say you have. What's the game again? Keep Driving. It came out like maybe 1 or 2 months ago. You're welcome. I guess I should say YW. Hell, some of the chillest driving I enjoyed came from Final Fantasy. Like, I imagine 15? I know 15 is all about probably a car, right? Driving in the car plays a large role in that game. And people joke calling it like road trip the game. Yeah, it's like you and your 3 homies just out there on the road doing quests and stuff, right? Just another summer, right?
Listen up. Hold the lead. Last lap.
You've seen some YouTubers play that? Oh yeah. Definitely the kind of game you would want to feature once, right? Just because it's like such a unique premise and the way they kind of put everything together just works, you know? I remember, I think last I checked it was like rated overwhelmingly positive on Steam, and well, you know, if a game's got something like that, they must be doing something right, you know? 15? Yeah, that's what I thought. 15. I think there's like any other Final Fantasy that does like super chill driving. Like, the other one that comes to mind that has driving elements is Final Fantasy VII, but you know, all their driving segments tend to be a lot more intense and stressful and combat oriented. Buying food and booze and all that. Oh yeah. Right. And sometimes it's like, oh hey, maybe I'll take a different route. You know, just see what's along this direction, and you know, maybe we'll find something unique, right? I did that the one year. The one year I went to drive to a con instead of getting a ride like I did before. I picked another route to go back to home that I stop by some local shops, you know. Just switch things up, right? A little change of pace. And, it was nice. Done that in Saints Row 3, recruit some homies and just go for a cruise. Yeah! There you go. Driving in the car, listen to your homies banter about stuff. What's also fun things they talk about. I get it. Drive 15 hours to pick up a pal and go to a con, would do it again? Hell yeah. Ah, those were the days, right? When it felt like the world was your oyster and just like, just take life as it goes, right? Just live it one day at a time. Con road trips are the best. Yeah, I had some good times when I was driving my friends to cons.
Didn't know Kristen, everybody. Okay, it looks like the race is about to start.
Right, it's like when you're going there, right? It's like the excited anticipation of all the stuff you'll get to see and do. And then when you're going back, you get to talk about everything you saw and did and bought.
Looking fast and smooth, those passes.
Oh yeah. Pile up. How dare you. It's one of the things I like about Grid, right? They're not like strictly professional. There's a little bump in here
Come
and
on,
there.
I think you've hit them one too many times.
It's not gonna come back to bite you that much.
Listen, just stay out of their way. Let things cool down.
That's why you stay out of my way. So you take first. Goes for you too, Zoe. Oh, bad brake. Give it a bit. I noticed the ad break timer is like a little off. Right? It'll tell you, oh, you're in the middle of an ad break, but it'll come to like 30 seconds left, but everyone's already left ad break by then, so. Whether it's just like a delay thing or what.
They're on a lap 2 already.
Great first lap. You're leading the race.
Man, I've always wondered how the points calculation works. It's like, well, okay, why does that like maybe 60 points, but suddenly gets ballooned to like 500? It's a mystery. I will tell you this much: I wish I had one of those camper vans for a long haul. Oh, I've never driven or ridden in a camper van, but I don't know, sounds like it might be fun to do at least once. They look like they'd be reasonably cozy, right? Even if it's like a little cramped and narrow, it's like, oh yeah, you know, all the amenities on the go, right? You got the sink, maybe a fridge, maybe a cooking area, maybe a TV, someplace to sit. Certainly make long trips slightly more doable, I think. No fun getting crushed by luggage and
You're
stuff.
through the halfway point.
Doubly unfun after the con when everyone's bought all their stuff and you gotta pack in everything in the same amount of space as before. Oh yeah, then on the way back all the extra stuff you bought. I guess my group lucked out, but I was the only one who ever brought multiple pieces of luggage. Then again, I was like usually the only guy who actually cosplayed to any degree. Like everyone else just, kind of wander the cons themselves. But me, I'm the guy who dresses up in costume and goes around. I mean, it's a good excuse as any, right? Everyone else is doing it, and hey, why not? Cosplay is fun. What better way to express your love for a character than to dress up as them? Or maybe you just like their outfits so much they're like, oh man, I wish I could wear that in real life. And then here comes cosplay coming along and saying, yes, you can. Does anyone else feel like that, right? You see an outfit in like a video game, a anime, TV show, anything like that, and you're like, oh man, that looks like it would be fun to wear, right? You're like, it's like, oh,
Final lap.
I wish I could wear
Keep
that.
that lead intact.
I feel like I get that a lot. And again, I'm like a bit of a fantasy outfit nut, right? Like I'll read and watch a lot of fantasy works because outfits, and I'm like, man, I want to wear that outfit, No matter how unfitting it might be for real life, very modern real life, I'm like, I want to do that. Or, even if it's impractical too, who cares? So much, yes. Like recent, well, I guess not that recent now, but I remember playing a game that was called like Rabbit and Steel. That was like along those lines, where you could like pick a class, right? You could pick a class and have a set of attacks. So everyone had like their outfit, right? The style that they had for that particular class. And I remember kind of being drawn to like the dancer class of that one because like, oh,
Very good.
that looks like a cool outfit. I'm gonna try making that. Yeah, I'm pretty sure a year in, a good number of people have done like Rabbit and Steel cosplays. Did that for Halloween last year, proper cosplay? Hell yeah. When my cousins threw like Halloween parties, that was pretty much my MO. Just used the cosplay costumes I got that year there as well. Still remember the first time I did it, right? It was basically like the first time I cross-played in front of them as well, and they were like, they were pretty supportive. So it's a good memory of mine. Although that said, I remember one of the things they did ask was like, how much did you pay for the costume, right? And I did pay. The people I commissioned at least, they were pretty pricey, like pricey enough that I told them how much it was, and they were like, ooh. I think someone actually told me later. It was like, yeah, they were all pretty shocked, right? They were like, yeah, maybe next time don't like tell them exactly how much it costs. They're all just like, man, why does this guy just like spend so much money on costumes?
Okay, don't be surprised if they're gunning for you now.
Yeah, I'll be more vague next time, right? I'll just say something like, it cost me like a month's worth of rent, Half the battle right there with support. Oh yeah. It's one thing to gain that sort of self-confidence and being able to get over that initial hurdle, but when other people are like, yeah, you go, that's what really encourages you to do it more, right? It's nice too, right? It's like, more supportive of the things you do, right? Even if it's not something they do, it's like, hey, you know, they're into it, so it's great. It's pretty cool. You guys remember, like, the first time you wore a costume? Random question. I imagine for most of us it's probably like, yeah, when I you know, went out for Halloween, right? Back when maybe you found a store-bought costume, or maybe your parents quickly tailored something or put something together for you. My mom did that. I remember back in the day, we were like big into Power Rangers, right? That's the big thing. Like, I want to be a Power Ranger for Halloween. My mom was like, hey, I can put together a costume real quick, and sure enough, they did, right? Yeah. Definitely not one-to-one, but hey, we were kids. We didn't care. We got to, we could use our imaginations to kind of fill in the blanks, right? That night, we were Power Rangers. Oh, yeah. I've gone back a very long way there with that question. I was trying to think of, like, what kind of question I would ask, but I figured. I mean, it all starts somewhere, right? Like when you think about, like, the things you're into, or, like, you know, some of the ways you are, right? If you sit down and think about it, try to trace it back, and you're like, oh, okay, so I had this as a kid, right? Maybe I did this as a kid, and you can kind of
All right, listen, you just gone
connect
past
the
the
dots
halfway
and
stage of the race.
go like, oh yeah. So that's why, or that's when I realized I like that, or that's how I got into one thing or another, right? Village parade for the summer festival. I was Puss in Boots. I remember being super stoked because I had a tail. 8-year-old you? Yeah, right? Something like that. It's like where you saw the building blocks, right? You saw the pieces being set. It's like, oh, wow. So this is like how I started my, this is how I realized that maybe I was a furry. I was into anthro, things like that.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
Following year, you were best man at the festival wedding, complete with the tails jacket and the top hat. Ooh! Oh, real proper with that, huh? I don't think I've ever worn a tailcoat before. Dapper, yeah. Admittedly, if I ever do a tailcoat, it would probably be like a stage magician's assistant kind of style one. Instead of pants, I'd wear a leotard instead. metal coat leotard combo is like really powerful. With fishnets, maybe. On the note of like costumes, you see that DC and Marvel are having another crossover? Can't remember when the last one they had, but apparently this one's gonna have Batman and Deadpool teaming up for... I forget what the premise was, but Batman and Deadpool are teaming up, and that feels like it could be a pretty good combo. Deadpool just like good in general because he's like the fourth wall man, so he can poke fun at crossovers in general and maybe just poke fun at aspects of Batman, right? I imagine Batman would be a good contrast too, because he's like, serious brooding man. You pair him up with like wacky fourth wall breaker guy, and
been an exciting event, hasn't it? And
feels like could work out, right? Remember when crossovers were a special event and not an everyday thing? I do remember that, and I would certainly agree that it does feel like the shock value of crossovers has diminished, since it seems like every work is doing some sort of crossover or another. Especially in fighting games, right? When back in the days of like Soul Calibur 2 and 4, right? It's like crossovers are kind of a big deal. It's like, oh my god. And nowadays, it's like you almost expect a fighting game to have a crossover now, right? It's like a fighting game doesn't have a crossover. Like, what are they doing then? You know? Like even games that you wouldn't expect to have a crossover are having a crossover for goodness sake, right? Grand Blue Fantasy versus having 2B, or Guilty Gear Strive having the one lady from Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Great first lap, you're leading the race.
Remember getting super hyped to see your boy Heihachi in Soul Calibur? Especially since he's like a fist fighter, right? Like a weapon-based fighter. It's nothing more badass than just like deciding, hey, I gotta go punch people in the face, right? Who needs swords? Who needs clubs? I'm just gonna use my left and right knuckles. That's all I need.
Wow, Christian, see some clean lines and smooth racing out there.
But yeah, there are certain games where it's like crossovers almost expected instead of a special thing now.
You've got 3 laps.
Like Fortnite, obviously, is the big one. Or like any gacha game, really. Like a lot of gacha games do a bunch of crossovers, and you almost expect them now. In the fighting game front, I think it's like Mortal Kombat, where their value's really diminished. At the very least, it feels like it makes less and less of an impact, right? Especially since like the characters they brought on in later games felt a lot more unfitting than the earlier ones. It's like, you know, Mortal Kombat 9 has Freddy's, like, yeah, you can at least see him making it fit, and you know, Mortal Kombat 10 continues the trend with just having like horror icons, which is like, okay, yeah. I mean, it is gory and it's a very intense kind of fighter, so they still made sense. But then they started throwing in like what, RoboCop and Rambo and Terminator, and it starts feeling like they're more going for like you know, stuff that your dad from the 80s was into, not necessarily like, hey, these guys are totally fitting into the MK universe, right? Old man can go despite his age. Just punches people like a champ. That Heihachi. Yeah, a slew of guests like Predator, Rambo, RoboCop, Terminator. I was at least willing to put up with the horror icons because, you know, with the fatalities and stuff, they felt like they slotted in somewhat naturally. But yeah, you know, like RoboCop, Terminator, Conan, they were stretching it there. You know, they started throwing in what, like The Boys and Invincible as well. And it's like, okay, might have lost a plot a little bit there. Keep the horror icons for that fan game, Phantasmagoria. There you go. Or, you know, Dead by Daylight. I feel like Dead by Daylight crossover value is kind of getting diminished too, right? Like, it was fine when they brought in all, like, the horror icons, but... You know, you start putting in stuff like, say, Lara Croft, and... Oh, okay, like, hey, video game character, cool, but... You're starting to dilute the brand a little bit, you know? Had a fun horror roster. And we need... Man, if someone could actually pull that off, right? For like a big budget retail version, that would be pretty sweet. Just a crossover horror fighter. Let's pit Jason and Freddy and Alien together, right? Without the context of Mortal Kombat. Speaking of Mortal Kombat, I think I read somewhere that they concluded development on Mortal Kombat 1. Kinda felt like it ended on a bummer note. Felt like they might have wanted to do more with that game, but I suppose businesses be businessing, right? Onwards and upwards to whatever the next game might be. What will NetherRealm do
It's
next?
the return of Union Motorsport, back with a vengeance.
Personally hoping they have like
Kristen,
another
tell us
Injustice
about
game,
this team.
or maybe a
Well, we
DC
all
fighter,
thought they were gone
if not
once
necessarily
the
Injustice.
Sorry, Race Control are about to get this underway.
What's next? End a Terminator story, and then you see Ultra Tech logo. Ultra Tech versus
Here we
Scorpion.
go, racing towards the first corner.
Yeah, just have them take on like Volgor. Volgor and Arya, right? Robot. Oh, and Kilgore as well. Let's put the three robot characters together. Volgor versus T800. No contest. No contest for who? Who's gonna win that one? As Arya says, evolve or die. It's probably just like theme of life in general. Maybe not to that extreme. You know, if you don't adapt, right, you don't keep up with the times, you're gonna get left behind. You know, depending on where you're working, that might happen sooner or later, but eventually it's gonna catch up. Volgor? Okay. And he does have, like, the lasers and the claws and everything. Certainly got a lot more armaments. The guy's, like, basically Predator, right? Predator if Predator were a robot. And not an alien with a bunch of space weaponry.
Good start, hold the lead.
Yeah, the cloaking. Invisible enemies, they're always the worst. It's like, you never know, or at least you rarely know where they are. Could pop out at any time, right?
Now just look at how they're using the
When the plot needs it the most, and then they'll, if you're not ready, they'll take you out in the blink of an eye. Sometimes you might not even know it.
That was it.
Take us forth.
Okay, I'll ask them to push.
See if they can do anything.
Okay, they said they can't push right now.
Nah, alright. Maybe next time.
Oh, they ran off the track. Baby.
Reptile was always bad for that, going invisible with like a sliver of health left. Just pulling out their ace in the hole. I'm like, maybe I'll get one more surprise hit in there. Man. Doing invisibility mechanics in the context of like a couch multiplayer game is always interesting. Right? The way different.
They're making the race
Right, good lap.
elaborate.
Just smooth it out, one turn at a time.
Because it's like you want to make that invisibility matter, but you also want to make sure the person who popped the invisibility doesn't become too disoriented. Or you'll get moments like in Smash Brothers where someone picks up a cloaking device and next thing you know you see, oh wait, no, they self-destructed. Whoops.
I would rather be even right here in the middle of this action than the Red Series.
Yeah, multiplayer invisibility kind of deal is like a high risk, high reward kind of maneuver, right? It's like you're gonna leave your opponent guessing, but you better have the most situational awareness about where you are, or otherwise you're not going to be that effective. In fact, you might even be worse off than not picked up invisibility at all, right? Or if you're doing like a multiplayer FPS that has like invisibility power-ups, which almost feel kind of pointless because you know the other guys are just gonna look at your screen and go, okay, so that's where they are. Just shoot that empty space like they have like freaking thermal vision or something. Yeah, you could always run an honor system where you don't look at other people's screens, or you could set your TV up in a way that you can't see other people's screens. In most cases,
Right there, held it, and a nice exit to seal the deal.
Okay, you're halfway through the race.
Our characters need Xavier's confusion spell from Eternal Champions when it totally messed your controls up. Oh! Like mess up all your inputs. Sounds like it would be interesting. Right? Especially for the people who like rely on muscle memory, just completely throws off. I feel like if they were to do that in a modern context, there would be a fixed way it would like mess with someone's controls, so that they'd have a way to counter it, right? It's like completely randomizing everything would just be a recipe for disaster, but giving the affected player some way to kind of mitigate that would make it pretty interesting. Bit like how Matt Miller does in the Decker use. Remind me, what did he do there again? I know he did like various degrees of fuckery with you, right? Like I remember he would turn you into a toilet for a brief moment. In fact, he would turn you into like a variety of objects. You know, your character would just get irritated by all of them. It's like, what? I gotta be this? What do you mean? Oh, he reverses all your controls. Stuff like that. Yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Slows you down to snail's pace. I'm sure that's accompanied by your character talking either like really slow or drawn out. Or like, oh my god, something like that.
On the wrong side of the track, there.
Whoops. I get a mulligan on that. There we go. The music goes super slow too, yeah, as it should, right? Just really just lean into the gag, right? Reminds me of my favorite slow-mo gag. It was in Powerpuff Girls, where I forget what like the complete context of it was, but I think it was like a attack that was about to hit one of the Powerpuff Girls, right? And of course, it goes into like that super slow mode where you know things are about to get real bad, and they really stretched it out where you know they would just like cut the characters just yelling in slow motion, but it was going so slow you could like barely understand what they were saying, and they would also cut to like say Bubbles just banging on her chest like she was a gorilla. Pretty funny way to do it. That's concealed.
Commitment to the corner. Really get in there.
Although, on the subject of like Matt Miller and the guy who voiced him, Gary Lowenthal, I did read an article where he might have kind of sort of confirmed that there's a Persona 4 remake coming. I think there's like a post that he had on Blue Sky. That was just him lamenting that he wasn't returning to voice Yosuke in that game. Because he voiced Yosuke in the other Persona 4 games. Yeah, so he's pretty much like what people associate Yosuke with, right? In English, anyway. But yeah, well, it was like, apart from that, you know, people are like, wait, Persona 4 remake coming. Granted, there were other signs of it in like the months before. I think there was like a web domain registration along that lines of that, but still. Probably says something that apparently like the Blue Sky post was deleted sometime later. Like someone on that chain must have realized, oh wait, no, they didn't announce a Persona 4 remake yet. It's like, quick, take it down. Pretend you don't know anything. It's like, on one hand, yeah, I'm gonna miss hearing him as Yosuke because he did a good job as Yosuke. On the other hand, this kind of just like following precedent, right? Because Persona 3 Reload also got a new voice cast for all the characters. Like the old VAs are still in there; they just like different roles now. But yeah, all the main characters were voiced by different people. All did a pretty good job of it too, all things considered. So, but probably stands to reason that Persona 4 remake would also go along that line. Well, there you have it. All the classics events are done. So now we can get started on modern, and we're gonna get ourselves a blitz. We're gonna get ourselves a blitz of events now because we're doing all the 1-2. So it looks like I gotta buy a car for this one. Alright. I have here Pagani Zonda, Ferrari. What's that? Brabham? And Aston Martin. Aston Martin looks kind of cool. Maybe I'll pick that up. Ching! We're going out. Hate when they swap the voice cast. Yeah, I get that to an extent, right? Makes you wish that, you know, at least in the US, people would kind of treat voice actors with the same amount of reverence. I mean, the voice actors want to, right? Like anytime you see like a remake or some such come out, like you see the fans and even the VAs going, nah, I hope I get to voice that character again, it's always a bummer when they get recasted. It's always nice when the stars do fall into place and you do get like VAs returning.
What's happening?
Like say with the Fruits Basket remake, like they got all the people from the old anime come back to voice their roles, right? Even if like some of them had retired in the interim, they still came back, which is pretty cool. But on the other hand, you get situations like, say, with the Tales of Vesperia remake, where like all the new scenes with Yuri Lowell are with a new guy, right? And then you get like Troy Baker just going on Twitter being like, "Bro, if Bandai Namco had just come to me and been like, hey, you want to record some new lines for Yuri?" And I'd be like, "Yeah, I would have totally done that, right?" What the heck? Could have at least made an effort. I guess it really just comes down to money. Like, sometimes the reasons they don't go back to the old VAs is because they have to pay more money, which sucks.
Nice work on the first lap. You're in second place.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm not your nemesis yet. Why'd you do that? DBZ is probably the worst for that? Oh, yeah. Because that actually had, like, a company change, too, right? It's like early DBZ... At first, I think DBZ was first voiced by, like, the company that was handling was called, like, Ocean Group or something like that. And then Funimation picked it up, and that's when you got, like, most of the iconic VAs. Yeah, like Christopher Sabat.
You've got 4 laps.
But yeah, imagine, especially for something like Persona 4, where they got like a ton of spin-offs and is beloved by a ton of people, having a cast change. It'll probably take some getting used to, but... Is it just me, or is that rear diffuser moving? It is! A little shaky there. I can't tell if it's supposed to do that, or if that's like the model freaking out. I guess we'll find out if it falls off, right? If it falls off, then yeah, I guess it wasn't detachable.
You're through the halfway point.
Kind of funny, right? Because it feels like it's just completely detached from the rest of the car. Right? It's like a thing that got jammed into the geometry of the vehicle, and it's now like the physics engine is trying to resolve it, and it can't figure out what to do. After a certain point, you know, the velocity equation is gonna go nuts and just make it fling out in some random direction. Looks like it'll fly off any second. Sure does. It's just gonna shoot out from the back like a rocket or something. Thankfully, since it's just car debris, it's not gonna do any damage. Mario Kart the same. BeamNG wobbling bodywork.
Okay, you've got 2 laps.
It's fine. So we got a little bit of a lead. Oh, next 16th.
Alright, requesting to push.
Push that up a little bit.
Right, they can't attack at the moment.
Okay, maybe next time.
Okay, I'll try to get them to attack. Okay, they're starting to attack.
Let's go. Got this, Nick.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
Nick might have it, but I certainly didn't at that moment. looks like there's the remains of the sign that I ran into there. Don't have the time to clean it off just yet. Of course, they probably weren't expecting a car to run into the signs. Kind of funny though that they have like object destruction tech. The crumpled remains of a sign on the side. It persists. Pretty amusing. Oh yeah. Another one done. Hey, we got team first. That's what matters. I know how you feel though. I was super bummed when they changed the VA for my favorite character, my favorite visual novel. It's like, no, right? Especially when it feels like there's no good reason for it, right? Like the VA is still willing and able. Like why not? Why aren't they back? Right? Like, sure, you could probably trace it back to probably a money kind of thing, but blows. I guess Sonic would be like the other big example, right? Like the voice cast has seen several turnovers over the years. I think it's like the Dreamcast era where people started paying attention, and then Sonic X came around, and then they decided to just make that the universal voice cast. And then after a while, they were like, okay, we're changing it again, and that's how we got like Roger Craig Smith Sonic and all the other VAs getting changed. And then they had like another turnover, like not too long ago. Granted, Roger Craig Smith still voices Sonic now, but a couple of other characters have had their VAs recast, and even if they didn't show up in that many games, it's like, right? Yeah, if you're not paying attention, it can be really jarring too, right? You're like playing the first game, you really get into a character, you like their voice, and you play the next game, and the character's like sounds different. Like, wait, what's going on? Why do they sound different? And you go, oh, it's because a different person voices them now. It's just like, dang it. On the flip side, though, when a work puts in like the extra effort to like get a guy to come back to voice a character, it really is a nice touch, right? Lets you know that they actually care about the VAs and care about the character. I think my favorite instance of that was Marvel vs. Capcom 3, right? The guy who voices Ghost Rider. Before Marvel vs. Capcom 3, the last time he voiced Ghost Rider was like in a Fantastic Four cartoon. And it was for like a cameo even, right? He only did like several lines as Ghost Rider. They brought that guy back to voice him in Marvel vs. Capcom 3. That was like 20 years later. But, yeah, the fact that they went through all of that just to find that guy and go, hey, so how do you feel like voicing Ghost Rider again? That's dedication right there, you know? There's the OG cast of Resident Evil, more wooden than a hay barn. Yeah, voice acting in its early days was like it hadn't like fully developed into the art it is now. So people didn't get things like voice direction and context and proper emotions when voicing in the scene. They set a line and they put it in, right? And it was like, well,
Hold the lead.
we have a voice. What else do we need? It's like, you were almost a Jill sandwich. Don't open that door. Oh, translation. I think translation was like especially bad for that because, you know, the way Japanese and English is spoken is like really different. So, you know, pacing of like actions and words and mouth flaps and things like that, you gotta try to fit the script in that way, and sometimes it comes out sounding awkward. Like, they've gotten better about that, right? like dubs these days doesn't sound quite as bad, but yeah. Certainly don't get anything like Speed Racer, right? Where they don't even care about the mouth flaps, they just have people saying stuff, right? Yeah, mister, you were almost a Jill sandwich. Still remember the line, the way they changed that line for Resident Evil Remake. Where it's just like, any later and you would have fit nicely into a sandwich, which, still cheesy, but... Got an idea of all that when you watch an interview with Ash Ketchum's VA. She went in depth with what she had to do. Oh yeah, Veronica Taylor. One part I remember was like in the early episodes, they made her voice a lower pitch for Ash because that's what the voice directors thought boys sounded like. And it got to the point where she had to bring in her son, right? She had to bring in her like kid's son, and to kind of prove to them, it's like, no, boys have higher pitched voices. And that's how they managed, and that's how we got like the Ash voice that we know these days, right? You can kind of hear it in the anime too, right? You know, listen to like the early episodes, like, yeah, Ash does sound a bit deeper. Later on, it's like, yeah, Ash doesn't sound as deep. I guess it's because that's when she brought her son in, you know. I do like a good behind the scenes feature, though. Right? Because most of the time we just see the end product, but it's kind of fun to see just like the thought process behind it too. It's like, how did they come to the conclusion? Like, okay, this is what the line's gonna be. This is how we're going to say it, and you know, maybe we'll get like a little behind the scenes shot of like the person in the booth. Speaking into the microphone.
Final lap 2.
Great first lap, you're leading the race.
There's like several ways they do that too. Doreen Dunstan did a great job as Pegasus. He really brought him to life with his catchphrases and way of saying things. Oh yeah. Right, like this, like the lines in the script is one thing, but you know, the person who puts the style and the delivery and kind of like the flourish to the character really helps. That's how we get like the Pegasus, who just seems super extravagant and hoity-toity and all that, right?
Alright, listen, you've just gone past the halfway stage of the race.
Yeah, everyone knows Yuki Boy. A lot of people like to reference that. I I keep on. I think it's like just because the abridged series, just like I really got into it for a while, but I always have to try to remember, like when a line pops into my head, it's like, wait, is this like something from the actual series? Or is this like from the abridged series, right? So I was about to say something like "Screw the rules, I have money," but then I realized, oh wait, no, that's from the abridged series. No one in the actual Yu-Gi-Oh series actually said. Screw the rules, I have money. Oh, it's like that threatening voice that Machine Dramon had in the OG Digimon. I feel like there were like a lot of voice style changes like that. Like you hear like the original Japanese version, and like the voice sounds like kind of cutesy and high pitched and stuff, but then you get to the dub and it sounds like a bit more mature, a bit more gruff. It's interesting, right? It's like a thing that still fits the character, but takes it in a slightly different direction, and it can be fun. I know other people would throw a fit over it, but I think if they know what they're doing and it still makes sense within the context of their work, it's pretty fun. Surprising is how pervy DBZ is if you watch it in Japanese with the subtitles. Oh, really? I mean, I know original Dragon Ball is like really ecchi, but maybe it's just my selective memory. But yeah, I guess if I went back and watched DBZ, I could perhaps catch a part or two where maybe there was more innuendo that was suggested than the dub would lead you to believe. We're gonna be schmooving through this first half as it usually. Oh, okay. So this particular vehicle class has the one option, like either you get the Ferrari or you're not gonna compete. So we'll get the Ferrari. Red Bull Ring Challenge Cup. I'm just glad that Red Bull doesn't have like their logo in that shape. Master Roshi and Bulma. I was like, oh yeah, Roshi. Super product of his time, I imagine, right? Because you know the pervy old man was always like an archetype back then.
The Red
but
Bull Ring has seen its fair
yeah,
share of
these
action over
days
the years.
that wouldn't exactly fly as well.
Looks like the race is about to start.
Certainly we see where they would switch things up to just perhaps fit the current state of things, you know? And hey, to be completely fair, it's like usually all for the better, right?
They won't be happy with that.
Like there's some things that can stay in the past, right? You look back and it's like, oh, why was that ever acceptable, you know? If they want to fit it to make the characters more palpable, more true to what the original vision was, then hey, go for it. Reminds you of that anime series that's on TV in GTA 4. So, oh boy, I am curious about this. What is GTA 4's take on anime? Princess Bubblegum?
Good start.
I thought that was like an actual work. Princess Bubblegum is like a fictional series in the GTA 4 universe. Also, did they bring that back for GTA 5, or did they have like any other anime series to go replace it? Or did they just like stuff it with other parodies as fitting for 2010's era? Had the social media that was called Life Invader, haha. Because 'cause that's what social media kind of sort of is when you think about it. Princess Robot Bubblegum. There we go.
Last lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
To be honest, that sounds like a pretty sweet premise to begin with. Like, Robot Princess? Yeah. Robot Princess that's all bubblegum-esque? Yeah. Someone make that into an actual series. That's probably happened a few times, right? It's like a series that's like meant to just be a fictional thing and another series actually gets spun off into a proper work and everything. I'm sure that's happened a few times. I'm pretty sure there was like a series in Nichijou like that, where there was like one of the things someone was working on in universe actually became a proper drawn, written, published, and printed series. It's funny when that happens. Work taking a life of its own, or making a life of its own, right? Living up to all the anime tropes. Yeah, probably pretty easy to do surface level parody, right? You know, just it's like, you know, the extra long transformation sequence, but blow, someone just like shoots them in the middle of it, or you know, they do their big long speech, but by the end everyone's already gone home or something, or I'm trying to think of other things they could riff on.
And we're heading into the final round now.
The one other specific thing I was thinking of was when people go into their like little imagination dreamlands where, you know, the background gets all fluffy and sparkly and stuff, right? Just smash cut to people just staring at the character, right? They're in like their little localized version of their imagined spot, and everyone's just going, "Oh, what are they doing?" Other guy's just like, "Oh, they do that sometimes. Just roll with it." Right? Kind of makes you want a real TV show of Professor Genki's super ethical reality climax. Yeah. I like that game, right? Closest to like a sort of I guess a gladiator style competition that you're gonna get, but Saints Row 5. Probably telling that for Gat's loyalty mission in Saints Row 4. That was basically you going through that in virtual reality. I was like, oh man, check out this thing you missed in Saints Row the 3rd, and you just go through all 3 levels of Genki's super ethical reality climax while the boys are back in town just playing in the background. I was like, yeah, it was a pretty good one, right? pretty good setting, pretty good premise, pretty good everything. That reminds me of this one game, really old game that I think Bizarre Creations did. It was kind of like that, where it was like a third-person shooter. You were kind of like doing laps through your course, and it was like a score attack game where you had to try to build your score up as much as you could within a certain amount of time or something like that. But yeah, it was like a one-off, right? Something they did in between Geometry Wars and Project Gotham Racing. That when you look back, it was like kind of unique and almost makes you wish they were able to build on that idea, but I want to look that up. Commentators did a great job, yeah. Sometimes it's about the details, right? Like, if you get the major beats right, it's one thing, but if you get all the details to like really sell you on the idea, make it feel real and plausible. It's even better. Not the game you were thinking of then?
Beautiful pursuit there. Follow each other's
Yeah, I wanna look
flanks.
that up.
Perfect.
I remember there was like an article or two coming out that said, yeah, you know, this isn't Gears of War. You shouldn't play it like Gears of War. You should think of it more as like a score attack, right? But third-person shooter. Although I guess on that note, at least that game had came out, right? It came out to production. People got to buy it and play it on their Xboxes. One game that we're not gonna see that I didn't even realize was in development was a Black Panther game. Yeah, that game was in development, but then it got canceled. It's like EA's like, yeah, we're gonna focus on like Battlefield and something else, but so it's just seeing that get the can after Wonder Woman game also got canned. It's like, are we gonna get like any other superhero games that aren't Superman or Batman? That would be nice. Like those two seem like it would be, oh yeah, not Superman, Batman, or Spider-Man. Or I guess Wolverine, because Insomniac is working on that. Hopefully the Wolverine game won't get canned. I don't know, they got a good thing going with Spider-Man. Hopefully Sony will have some confidence in them. You were thinking of MDK? Oh! MDK. Still remember playing the demo for 2. It's a pretty fun demo. I know the games are on GOG. I'll probably get it there.
And this one's for the grit. Okay, sorry. We are
I just
about
want
to
to play
get started.
MDK 2. Is that one? Is the one where I had fun at. I mean, I'm sure MDK 1 is probably fun in its own right, but you know what the fun part about that game is? It was, if I remember correctly, made by BioWare, right? The RPG guys who would go on to make games like Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic, and Mass Effect, and Dragon Age. They made that one. Quite a departure from what you know now, right?
Well trailed. These two are about to kiss each other. Don't do it.
Interesting commentator line for that.
Wow, what a move. I'm really impressed.
I mean, it fits, but quite the metaphor. I know I would be rather amused if they were to one day announce like MDK HD or something like that, right? Or like a, yeah, just give it like a HD makeover. How would they even do that? Because I know the setting's like pretty stylized to begin with.
Yeah, race. What a lad.
Neversoft did the PlayStation version. Remind me, where did MDK come out first?
Practically ready for needle
I
red.
remember playing MDK 2 on the Dreamcast, but I don't know if it came out there first. I'm not sure where MDK 1 started. That was quick. And I got 100,000 credits out of that. 1997. Ooh. Thinking about how we can play that game on systems this day. That's the power of preservation, am I right? Yeah, 97. I guess that would be like PlayStation era, which I guess would make sense that Neversoft would be doing a PlayStation version then. I remember seeing screenshots in magazines like, what is he supposed to be? I feel like it would be a confusing thing, right? You're like, okay, so what is this game about? How does it play? What is your goal? Like, if I remember correctly, the tone of the game is very tongue-in-cheek. It's humorous. I mean, for starters, if I remember correctly, Kurt was like a janitor, right? He was a janitor who had to put on a power suit to stop some aliens for one reason or another. Good old days of magazines, am I right? Where you see like the big old cover art for the game that they feature front and center, and just like that would be the info you got for the month, and you're just got all the thoughts racing through your head. It's like, oh man, this game's gonna be cool. At least I hope it'll be cool. Just hoping it won't become dated or anything. Just imagine what it's like today, right? When you can just get like up-to-date news about info on a game. You know, at first it was like publications that would just transition to being online, or the online-centric publications that would deliver you the news there and then. But then companies are like, what if we just like put out the news and videos ourselves? I kind of miss having that sort of in between, right? I think it's nice to have a separate person looking at that and just kind of giving you the facts, right? Facts, as it were.
Real commitment to the work. Really getting in there.
One shot was that weird parachute with the big ring things. You know, I've always wondered that myself. Like, it's an interesting stylistic choice, but you always wondered like how that would work practically. It's like, okay, so how does this work as a glider again? All about PlayStation Power magazine back in the day. I'm trying to remember what like the big name PlayStation magazine was like in the States, but I can't remember. Because obviously for Nintendo, there was Nintendo Power, obviously. I believe that was just like a worldwide thing. I forget what the Xbox magazine was, if there was any. Apart from that, it was like Electronic Gaming Monthly, Game Pro, Game Informer. Game Pro you don't hear about like at all, apart from like Pro Tip. Electronic Gaming Monthly, I know they had like the Archive Kickstarter campaign not too long ago. And then Game Informer was like an online house for a long time that suddenly got shut down and then came back to life, thankfully. So yeah, early on, most of them all had Lara Croft on the cover. Yeah, back then, that's what that was the standards, you know? I was like, oh yeah, now that's a video game character right there. If only the kids knew back then, knew just how much things would advance to these days. some might even say we plateaued after a point. Yeah, video game ads back then were... They really leaned more into the titillation factor, didn't they? At least a good number, right? A lot of other ones are just like weird or bizarre. but then you get the ones that had like, you know, a half naked person or something. It's like, well,
Everything under full control.
that's what they thought would sell. Maybe it did, right? But at least you can be glad standards have changed since then, right? One magazine here you'd have liked back in the day was Manga Mania. Ran from 93 to 2000, was pretty much the only way we knew about manga, home video, and anime, etc. The anime magazines. You know, I never subscribed to one myself, but I'm sure if I'm like more of an anime fan, that probably would be something I would be into. You know, back when Shonen Jump had like a physical publication, my sister actually subscribed to that. Like every month we get like the volume of Shonen Jump, and she'd read through all the series they had there. Interesting times. Yeah, obviously at some point they kind of stopped doing that, but yeah. AVGN did a whole episode on gaming magazines. That does not surprise me. I think that would be right up his alley and would be a good change of pace of things, right? Oof. Just had to get a glass of water there. Alright, a time attack series, so these should go by pretty quickly. Yeah, I'm sure, you know, James Rolfe probably picked out all the good ads that he could snark out, right? It's like all the weird ones and all the misguided ones and perhaps some of the more awkward ones when you go back and think about it. His hairline is really receding these days, isn't he? Like, I'm pretty sure he's been at this for a while, so I had to imagine he's like pretty old now. Makes sense. Like the guy's a father, if I remember correctly. Probably got like a lot of other things on his plate now. Right, back then, you know, you were probably like a college kid, right? You had to worry about assignments maybe, but I had like a lot more time to dedicate to making your video series. But nowadays, it's like, well, it's just one thing on the many plates that you gotta keep spinning, right? Sometimes that might mean you have to prioritize one thing or another. Such is life, right? Such is life. 44, oh man, yeah. Up there. That's always the shocker, at least these days, right? When you hear the news about the guys you remember getting into when you were young, and you go, wait, they're 50 now? What the fuck? 50? I remember when I had that when Stephen Colbert, right? Because I remember watching him with Colbert Report, and I was like, oh man, this is like cool and hip. And you know, fast forward to like him doing the Late Show, and him offhandedly mentioning, oh yeah, man, I'm 50 now. I'm like, yeah, yes, obviously, but Alright, going back to Yuri Lowenthal, right? You know, the guy who's known for voicing kid characters. He's also in his 50s. Might be close to 60 or not, but man. Yeah, it's like, where has the time gone? Where has it gone? You know, these guys, they were like, you know, younger adults back in the day. I mean, duh, but still. We should use Jim Parsons' secret, because he doesn't look like he's aged at all. It's always funny.
This is exactly why we love it.
Realize that. I think I had like that deal with Weird Al, right? Because I think he's around like 60 to 70, but I don't know. You look at that guy and you're like, oh no, he doesn't look like he's 60 to 70. That guy keeps himself pretty well. Like, probably put him maybe 40 at most, but old guy. There's one I was watching recently where it was Paul Rudd, right? Because someone made a compilation of like all the times Paul Rudd was ever on Conan, right? And every time Conan would be like, all right, let's show a clip, and then Paul Rudd would just like show that same clip from Mac and Me over and over, right through the decades. And there were like many comments below that video that was like, man, Paul Rudd looks the same, right? From the first time he was on Conan to his most recent appearances, he still looks like Paul Rudd, you know? Doesn't look like he's aged today. Al looks great for his age. His long hair suits him so well. I think that's probably part of it, right? His hairstyle is like really timeless, you know? Like, you remember early on when we had like the sort of curly hair and the really huge glasses, but then he got laser eye surgery and he swapped his hairstyle out. It probably helped a lot, right? Like, his old look probably would have been more dated, you know?
The city of Zhejiang is
Guy's not
buzzing
like,
with the sound of motorsport. The Grid
Guy's not
World
putting out
Series is here
albums
for
anymore,
today's
but you
excellent
know,
event.
on the occasion he does put out like a video. You're like, oh man, it's like he never left, you know? And the mustache. Oh my god, I forgot about the mustache. Right? Yeah, the mustache would also be another thing that would date him. Man, when did mustaches fall out of favor? I remember seeing them like everywhere, you know? It was like the mark of like the really important guy, right? The guy who had the mustache. But yeah, I don't see many people sporting mustaches these days. Personally, I don't sport a mustache myself, but it's like personal reasons. I was never a big fan of facial hair, which I guess kind of makes sense. So I like the femboy style. And femboys can still look great if they sport mustaches, right? Anyone can look great sporting a mustache. Men, women, non-binary, old. As common as top knots are now on blokes. Top knots. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in real life with a top knot. What's with the long mountain man beards? I just want to get hedge clippers on them. Yeah, I've always found those odd as well, right? Like, some people, you know, they keep them and they do them really well, but other folks, you see them and it's like, oh, that's a sign that they either don't get a haircut very often or they just don't give a crap and it's worse if they don't maintain it. Yeah, I guess it goes in hand with the mustaches thing. I'm not a fan. Personally, don't do beards either. Not my thing. But hey, beards can be great, right? If someone goes through the trouble to maintain them, make them look good, more power to them, you know? And like mustaches, everyone can look great with them. Men, women, and surely they're just food catchers. Yeah, if you're not good about maintaining your beard, that's what it like amounts to, doesn't it? Always tends to be the joke, right? Someone just finding something in their beard. You know, it's like one of the advancements I like about character creation, right? The opening of facial hair to just be for anyone, right? It's like not locked to any one gender or body type or anything like that. It's like, oh, you want facial hair? Go for it, right? Doesn't matter what kind of character you're making. It really opens up possibilities, right? Both for serious and for silly, you know? You know, someone making a great character with a great looking beard is a plus. Someone making like the goofiest or hilariously horrifying character with a beard too. It's a good thing, right? It's a good thing. Also, there's that whole stigma of 70s porn with a mustache. Oh yeah, certain facial hairstyles have just like, you know, become completely discredited for good reason. One or another, you know. The stigma around them is just way too great. It's like, ew, don't even think about it, right? Yeah, like the porn stash. On a sort of related note, did you ever see anyone in real life do like a twirly mustache? And I mean like a for serious twirly mustache, not like, you know, one to indicate that you're a totally evil character. I figured that was gonna happen. Handlebar ones, people expect leather chaps. Like a conquistador mustache? Something like that, yeah. Right, like the one with the hairs that just like go into a little spiral like curl. Is that something that's like a for real thing, or is that just like a visual language that just got codified after a while? It's such a hipster thing. You know, hipster is being about counterculture, so why not mustaches, right? If mustaches are out, then I guess mustaches would be in for that. I think there's some value in going against the grain sometimes, right? Sometimes it's good to be your own person. There are other times where you want to follow the crowd, right? It just depends on the context. Twirling mustache and a pompadour hairdo. It's like full-on bad guy getup right there, right? That kind of style just screams like sleazy business person, right? type of person who would just like roll up to you with a briefcase open up, like, yeah, I got this super cool potion with me, right? It'll cure whatever ails you, give you infinity dollars, let you finally date the person that you've had a crush on all this time. The kind of person that would just like kickstart the plot, you know? Kickstart the plot of a kid just like getting in over their head by buying the mysterious substance from the mysterious salesperson. Or yeah, they could have a super complex coffee order, right? The person who holds the line up because they have very, very specific way they want that coffee in there, because it's totally the optimized recipe they have for that optimized flavor and taste and texture. I can't do this anymore. Snake oil salesman, as it's called in West of Loathing. It was a term in general too, right? Snake oil tends to be like scams, so to anyone who's very much trying to scam you is pretty much just referred to as a snake oil salesman. I do at least do one run of that game. Partially because another run would be fun, and partially because I have not played the DLC for that game yet. Right, they had the one DLC come out, like the Reckoning at Gun Manor or something. I played through the base game a few times and loved it. I've not gone back to play the DLC. Soon, trademark. I'll get to that soon. Trademark. You missed the humor. Asymmetric writing has always been top notch. They kind of honed their craft over a decade of writing stuff for Kingdom of Loathing, so when the style of game they had kind of translated naturally to video game form, right? Yeah, I remember playing West of Loathing for the first time, just like, oh man, this is like a video game version of Kingdom of Loathing, right? Like got the humor and everything down pat, you know? Yeah, the spittoon diving running gag. One of the fun gags they had in there. The way they would just like describe what you're reaching into, like the grossest of terms. Like, are you sure you want to put your hand in that? And then by the final one, it's just like the narrator gives up. It's like, oh yeah, you want to get into that. Oh, you want to get into that so much, huh? So much that you just want to put it over your head and wear it like a hat. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh yeah. It's glorious. Fun times. Yeah, and the walk cycles as well. I remember that. You get the book for it, the walking perk. It was great, right? You see them randomly switch between swimming and ice skating and moonwalking and stuff like that. That being said, I did kind of like the way Shadows of Loathing implemented it as like, okay, certain items will change your walk style now, right? That's not like the one skill that will kind of cycle through random things. Now you can have like a specific walking style that you work with. I do wonder what they're working on next. Like, it's been a while since we got Shadows over Loathing. Are they working on DLC for that game, or are they moving on to like another game entirely? Right? Or are you gonna get a different Loathing video game in a different setting? Ah, level 99, and we're still collecting XP. Does that mean this game has prestige levels, or is the cap actually 100? I guess we'll find out. There we go. 2 more events on the top half. We're off to British Track Day for a trophy. Who would have thought the simple art style like that works so well with the narrative and story? Well, when you don't have to put as much effort into making high-quality art, you can put your focus into making all sorts of silly references and funny, humorous writing. I mean, it works, right? Like, it's part of the reason why the browser game is beloved. Like, part of it is the stick figure graphics.
And here we are for the first round, Kristen.
The way everything is just, like,
Feeling about this
simply
one?
drawn.
The opening race, and I guess we will see who is out there to feel out.
But still detailed enough that
Okay,
you
it looks
get
like
the
race
references
is
and
about to
everything.
start.
Yeah, it looks like something you would draw as a kid, right? And with the style of the game, it like absolutely fits too, right? Like the parodic style of RPG just lends itself well to the goofy style like stick figures.
Stop, let's rein it in. You push them over the edge here.
Rein it in once I'm in first. I want to look at like the release cycle for asymmetrics games now. Just want to get an idea of, oh, maybe when can we
Good
expect
start,
like the
hold the
next
lead.
game to come out? Although I know I believe they've done other stuff other than like the loading games, right? Like I remember they had a Kickstarter project for a completely different game with a different graphical style and everything. I forget what the name of it is at the moment. I also don't know what came of it.
You're through the halfway point.
Burr of the curb can be jarring when driving on track in real life. Rumble strips. Yeah. They serve their purpose for sure. You hear that loud rumble in the
Final
car
lap.
now.
Keep that
Certainly
heat intact.
jolt you awake. Working as intended. Honestly, if the state of your consciousness gets to the point where that sound from a rumble strip doesn't snap you to attention, then that should probably be a sign, right? That should absolutely be a sign. Never driven on a track with those before? Ah. Honestly, I think it's pretty neat. Simple yet effective thing to hopefully curtail accidents on roads, because you do what you can, right? You do what you can with the tech you have. Like a combination of that, maybe reflective paint for the lines you paint on the road, the additional signage or lighting, or just like other little things you can do, you know? They're all below 99. No one's managed to hit the past 99 threshold yet. One thing you don't see on roads anymore, cat's eyes.
Kristen, a pleasure as
Like
always to
the
be in your company.
little dots
And if
that
you
they would
didn't know
have in
Kristen,
between
everybody, she's a
the
two-time
road
world-time
lines.
attack champion,
I
as
kinda
well as a
recall
regular
this,
top-level
but,
touring
yeah.
car driver. So, Kristen, okay, sorry, we are about to get started.
As time goes on and they found more effective ways to make the markings on the road visible.
Here we go. About through and take position.
The reflecting thingies that were down. Yeah, I think you and I are on the same page here. Yeah, I remember those back in the day. Right, I don't think I see them as much now. They go badump when you drove over them. That might be part of it. It's like one thing to put rumble strips at the edge of a road, but it's another thing to have a thing that goes bump. Especially if it's a kind of road where lane switching is to be expected. You know, I don't see a lot these days either. Certain roads, I think in the States, would have like giant white circles painted on them, and have like a sign on the side that usually goes, good distance to stay back is if you can see 2 circles between you and the car in front of you.
Great first lap, you're leading the race.
I still see them occasionally, but certainly not as much as I did back in the day, which admittedly still wasn't that much, but always wondered what the criteria was for just having like those sort of circle frame of references. It's just a case of, yeah, we notice a lot of fender benders in this area or something like that, so. Visitors here get confused by all the zigzag lines by zebra crossings and stuff. I mean, like an intersection that just has like multiple roads going in not cardinal directions, so you just get like a lot of crosswalks that just kind of throw people not from there for a loop. Most of the time here, it's like, if it's an intersection, it's usually like, you know, a cross style of intersection. A T style of intersection. You know, occasionally you'll get like some of the more awkwardly shaped ones, but those are like usually the more rural roads, right? Urban places, it's, yeah, a lot of very, very 90-degree angle kind of road connections. A lot of speed bumps. Wish cities here would do that more. It's like more crosswalks, more speed bumps. I don't know, something to make them a bit more walkable. Granted, I live in a place that thankfully is trying to take steps to make pedestrian travel like a lot more bearable, but I know there are like a bunch more cities where it feels like if you don't have a car, you're kind of hosed, right? Like, walking options are few and far in between, and if you want public transport, well, unless you like ride shares, good luck. It's always a bummer. Of course, given like everything else that's going on, I imagine walkable cities is probably not number one on the list. Hopefully we'll get there, right? Either that or like better public transport. I don't know. Both would be ideal. One or the other would be fine. Closed some roads in town here and made them all pedestrianized. Yeah, something like that, right? Like, you know, we got civil engineers. Surely they could perhaps look at the city map and see where car traffic is the least and go, okay, maybe we can just, you know, close things off here and make foot traffic a bit more lively. Maybe that'll help, you know, with local business and life and what have you.
I doubt we're gonna see anyone really
Maybe.
troubling the post.
Okay, hold on, sorry. It looks like
I'm not a civil engineer, so I can't really say for sure. Surely it's gotta work out, right? Like, give people a reason to be outside, and they'll be outside, you know? I feel like that would happen. Yeah, do a SimCity and delete roads. Something like that, right? Right, you know, like do something like The Sims and like put up barriers or something, you know? Barriers that people can walk through and maybe not cars. Has anyone played The Sims? I feel like my experience with The Sims is always like spend an ungodly number of hours in the character creator just creating a bunch of characters and plopping them in some place somewhere, and then maybe like doing the life part for
Good start. Hold the lead.
a little bit, and then not coming back to that file for a good long while. I did that with The Sims 3. I did that with The Sims 4. I don't know what it is that can't quite grab my attention past character creation. Or maybe that's just like what I'm really into. I wish I were better at interior decoration. I feel like if I just had like an eye for making a good house or a room, The Sims would probably grab me a lot more. Oh, you have the OG Sims on PS1, create a family and all that. Ooh. Very nice, very nice. If I remember correctly, EA recently put out like a Sims 1 and 2 bundle.
Alright, listen, you've just gone past the halfway stage of the race.
Although I know there were like some problems around it, but for the most part people were happy that put in the work to make it work on modern systems. It was like, sure, yeah, you could get the old PC versions, but you had to like, you know, jump through a bunch of hoops because they're really, really old, so you had to put in some effort to get them to run on like a modern PC. Fun little things Looks like the burglar appearing in the window during your character creation. Always like a good sight gag, right?
Listen up. Hold the lead. Last
A
lap.
little bit of an Easter egg just to make the process a bit more fun. You know, something to break you out of, like the routine of making your character. It's like, oh, funny thing. Going back to Western Load, that reminds me of the character creation screen there. Like you could like pick a portrait, but there are a bunch of sight gags and sort of that screen, right? I remember you could like shoot the targets in the background and you'd see like a score counter go up, right? And if you kept shooting them, the game would eventually put out targets that would say just something to the effect of the score doesn't mean anything, right? It's just a little visual counter. It's all arbitrary. Like if you're expecting something to happen by shooting the targets to get a certain score, no, it's just gonna make number go up. That's really the long and short of it. Were there any other menu gags like that? And oh, we're back at 01, but the number's different. I think that's bronze now? Okay, so it starts purple, and then we go to bronze. Okay. Does that mean there's like silver and gold as well? You have like the purple levels, and then bronze prestige, and then silver prestige, and then gold prestige? I guess it's an incentive to keep playing, right? Since level in this game seems to be just an indicator of how much you've played, more than anything. Alright, so that's how it works. There's no... at the very least, there's no... no 99 level cap. It goes higher than that. How much higher? Don't know. They pulled a Horizon, they sure did. We're just like, alright, we reset you back to 1. 01 even.
So now we turn our attention to Kristen, our expert on all things motorsport, and our co-host. Okay, sorry, we are about to get started.
Reminds me of the prestige in like games like Call of Duty, although in this game it's like purely cosmetic. In Call of Duty, sometimes it provides a gameplay benefit, sometimes it doesn't. It's like maybe you might get more creative class slots, or you might get like super special camos, and sometimes they'll let you pick a weapon or a perk or something to keep unlocked through your next prestige rank. Here it's just like, yeah, we'll change the background, and you know, that's how other people know you've played this game a lot. Bronze 1. What is the max level you can get in Grid 20? How many prestige levels do we have? Where will I be at when we finish this? I'm going to guess I'm going to be at like bronze level 50 at most. We'll get through the DLC and that's what they wrote for this game, right? That's what they wrote for Grid 2019. You hit Prestige 5 last week in Horizon. Oh man. How many Prestige levels do they have there? Usually if they do Prestige, it's like 10 levels of Prestige, right? You go through like 1 to 100 like 10 times. And at that point it's like, well... At that point, you're definitely super duper dedicated. Congrats. Prestige 10 is the most of the horizon. Okay. So they're about halfway there.
The World Series is really turning up the heat.
Oh, Prestige 10 has 3,999 levels. So there's a curve. There is a curve. Yeah, I do remember Horizon 5. It's like, I was surprised
Okay,
that
you're halfway through the race.
the first Prestige didn't happen at like level 100. I hate experience curves, right? It's like a thing that you think would be linear, but it just makes it obfuscates things, right? It makes you think that there's going to be a linear progression from level 1 to 100, but you know, the way the curve works, it's just like, yeah, it's going to slow all the way up to the max. That's why you always get those people who are like, yeah, the amount of experience you need to get from like level 1 to 80 is the same amount of experience you need to get from 80 to 100. Because that's just how the curve pans out,
2
right?
laps to go.
Crazy when you think about it. I think Pokemon Go was especially bad for that. Where it's like the curve, I forget, like the cap is 40, but you know, getting from like level 1 to 35 or something like that was about the same amount of time you get from 35 to 40. And then they added like extra special levels on top of that, which took even more ungodly amounts of XP, like way more than it would take from getting from 1 to 40. And at a certain point, it's like, well, why are we here? Just to suffer.
Final lap. Keep that lead intact.
I doubt you better your level in Forza Horizon 4. Yeah, we all have that one game, right? The one game that just hits right for us, right? The one game that just clicks. And that's the one you invest all your time in. It's good that, that 4 resonated with you that much, right? The colors on your level is a good indicator of how close you are. Yeah, that's true, right? It's like, although there's like seems to be only like 2 kinds of chromatic progression these days, right? It's either like WoW color progression or bronze, silver, gold, right? You're either doing WoW colors or metals, you know? Like, I don't think I've seen many games try anything different from like, you know, green, blue, purple, orange. It's just so ingrained with everyone now that, you know, someone tries to do colors different from that and just like absolutely throws you for a loop, right? Wait, what do you mean this game has common items with a blue color and not green, right? Yellow, orange, red, blue, dark blue, purple, bronze, silver, and when you're close to prestiging up, gold. Ah, I see. Okay, well, that's pretty good. That's a pretty good indicator, yeah. So pretty much like colors to metals. So, although not like WoW colors. This one's going from like warm to cool, really. Wait, it's going from yellow to purple there.
And we're heading into the
Interesting
final round
progression.
now.
I wonder how they decided that.
Kristen, tell me what's because it's time to get started.
Also in reverse order too, right? It's like if you think they were doing color progression from like that, they would do like cold to warm, you know? Like start with blue and then work your way up to red. Like your level is getting hotter. Prestige 7 in Forza Horizon 4 was months of grinding 50 laps up and down the motorway. Oh yeah. When the curve hits again, right? feels like you gotta make a ton of progress just to get that next level. Although, you know what that reminds me of? Way back in the day, Rayman Legends. They had this thing called like the level of awesomeness. That was basically like a trophy points tally, right? Like, you know, you would get a certain number of points for getting certain classes of trophies. And while you could get like a number of them in the game, right, it would not be enough to get close to maxing out your level. So you would instead have to play like these daily challenges that would give you like additional trophy points to increase your level. But the way it worked was that you had to pretty much play for months on end just to get that final level of awesomeness, right? And that's what I'm saying about how like curves can be deceptive, right? I was like, oh yeah, you play through the game normally, like you get like, you know, level 11 of 12. You're thinking, oh yeah, you know, I'll just do a little bit here. Right, in and out, 20 minutes, how long can it take? And the next panel is just Rick and Morty's utterly conked out. Months later, it's like finally got that last freaking level of awesomeness. I certainly went for it though, because Rayman Legends rules. Only once though. I'm pretty sure if I replayed that on any other platform, I'd be like, no, fuck that. I'm not doing it again. Fuck that. They capped the XP and cash you get in 50 lap Goliath. Oh yeah. I mean, they also did that in 5, didn't they, right? Because the popular early grinding method was to just, you know, set up all the driving assists, right? And then just hold accelerate in the 50 lap Goliath while you go do something else. Then they were like, nope. We're going to cap the amount of stuff you get there. Nice try. So now the meta is just, hey, do as many laps of the Goliath as the cap will allow. And then go in and do it again. Really, they're just like adding extra steps, but I guess if it slows things down, even if a bit, I guess it's
You're through the halfway
it's fine.
point.
Maybe. Hard enough leveling up a full Pokemon team even with lucky eggs. I feel like most competitive environments these days will auto-level your Pokemon to 50 or 100 as needed, right? So all you really need to do is like the hidden stat grinds, you know, the effort values and all that stuff. Man, I'm still shocked that is a thing. And the way they still refer to it obliquely, right? Like, I know it's a kid's game, so they don't want to overcomplicate things for the kids, but it's like, this is the stuff that everyone else has known for a while now, right? And granted, they did put in ways to try to sort of mitigate that grind, right? Some ways work better than others. Personally, I wish every game from XY onwards just had like some sort of super training-esque minigame, but getting all your teams to 99 is a nightmare. Sure
Last
is.
lap, so hold the lead through to the end now.
After a certain point, it's just like, all right, you beat up enough Pokemon to get the EVs you want, and then you go to like the highest level area you can that your Pokemon can handle, and just beat up Pokemon there until you eventually hit the cap. You know, make sure you hit the daily and weekly trainer battles when you can to really get that windfall of XP. Oh, and make sure at least one of them has like the amulet coin too, so you can double your monetary earnings, because that can always come in handy. Because you'll probably need it to buy the vitamins you need to increase the EVs of the other Pokemon you want to train up. And then you put those through the battles once you get the EVs you want, and continue making money, so that you can buy more materials to raise up some more Pokemon that you simply now want to raise now. Level 99 Zekrom is a one-hit kill every time with Dragon Breath. There's a reason why legendaries tend to be in their own class, right? They're like the purposely overpowered mons. Obviously, they're going to have higher stat totals and some wicked moves that will really tear up any sort of mon if they were left unchecked. I think I remember reading somewhere, like, competitive Pokemon toyed with the idea of, like, allowing a limited number of legendaries. I forget where it was, but it was like, some places, you know, let people, like, maybe put in one legendary, per team. I wonder if that's a sign of the times, right? Just like the power creep that, like, the regular mons have had with, you know, moves and stats and abilities and items and what have ya, means that maybe legendaries aren't as extra special as they used to be, you know. So they're at the point where it's like, oh yeah, you know, just allow them now, right? They aren't that much better. Even a maxed out Superior will do a one hit, even if it's not effective. Oh man. That being said, I know there were some mons that were just like disgustingly overpowered, like to an absurd degree, right? So much so that they just annihilate the rest, no questions asked. Like, I remember that being the case with Mega Rayquaza, right? Just in addition to just being like a crazy statted mon with a wicked moveset, you know, the conditions for making it Mega were so different from other mons that was just like an easy add and easy, like almost like an I win button if they were to leave it unchecked. It was like so overpowered that I think like the competitive scenes actually made a special tier just for Rayquaza, right? Because it would still annihilate even like the overpowered tier. You had to create like the extra overpowered tier for Mega Rayquaza. Oh my god. This track is really unforgiving with the off-track limits, huh? There we go. Had a team like that super OP because I had all legendaries. I mean, that's just how we like rolled on the playground, right? Yeah, we're gonna put in Mewtwo and Articuno and Moltres and Zapdos. They're cool. They're powerful. Why would we not do that? Yeah, and then you go online and then you see people going, why don't you try fighting with some real mons instead? I mean, to a certain point you can understand it, but on the other hand, it's like, let them have their fun, right? If their idea of fun is just like face-rolling NPC teams with legendary mons, sure. I guess it's a competitive scene where things start getting hairy, you know? It's no fun, like, if you have, like, that kid on the playground who's just going around curb stomping everyone because, you know, they just roll all legendaries all the time, you know? Did you ever do like real life, you ever do like link cable Pokemon battles, right? And on the GBA or the Game Boy, did you ever like do link battle with someone that way? I remember doing that. Yeah. It's just like a cool idea, you know? That and trading, right? It's like the one series where, you know, the whole two version paradigm is kind of to its benefit. Although it certainly sucked if you were somewhere where, you know, a lot of people didn't play Pokemon, so, you know, you couldn't engage with the trading. And the only way you'd be able to get yourself a full Pokédex was to have 2 handhelds in both versions of the game or something like that. I knew several people like that too in forums. I was like, yeah, in that regard, yeah, that kind of sucks. In that regard, yeah, you do wish that maybe they do just like the one version where you can catch all of them. Of course, given how many Pokemon there are, it's probably a good reason why they dropped the "Gotta catch 'em all" tagline. You know, because catching them all might not be feasible, right? Depending on the availability of certain mods, you know. Especially since, like, it's no guarantee that every game is going to have every mod in them. Starting with Sword and Shield, it's like, yeah, they're gonna have a limited selection. Which, to an extent, I get. It's like, yeah, trying to 3D model and animate an ever-growing number of monsters is probably hard. On the other hand, I kind of wish they would try to put some effort in some areas. Like, is it too much to ask for a move? You know, move that's like, it's supposed to be a dodge move that doesn't just look like animation is just, you know, move Pokemon X 500 Y X 500 move my X minus 500 or something like that, you know. Like give them like maybe a smallest modicum of animation that isn't just like the idle cycle. Like, sure, on one hand, you know, I don't want to overwork the dev teams or anything, but on the other hand, maybe that would be a case of getting more people to work on it, maybe a longer amount of time to give them to work on the game, so we don't get things like the sandwich scene in Scarlet Violet, right? As much as they try to make it look stylistic and everything, it's just like, oh, they're just like cutting corners in the animation. No. Wasn't into Pokemon back then. I only got into them when I got a DS emulator and Black and White 2. Ah, okay. Hated Pokemon at first because I was in the Digimon camp. There was a divide back then, right? Right, especially, I remember that in school too, right? Digimon was seen as like the cooler Pokemon because, you know, it wasn't just about kids going on a merry adventure. No, these kids were forcefully transported into another world, and some of these monsters are out to kill them, you know? And that with like the Pokemon, Digimon just having like a, you know, leaning on like the cooler designs as well. I mean, Pokemon has cool designs as well, but you know, you have things like, say, in Digimon, you have like the cat with like the claw gloves, or you know, all the forms of giant dinosaurs of Greymon, right? Or you know, like angels, right? You have a Digimon that was like an angel, basically.
And we're heading into the final round now.
That's not cool. I don't know what is.
Kristen, tell me what's gonna happen.
Looks to be a
Yeah,
really
Gatomon.
Okay, hold on, sorry. It looks like things are about to get underway.
Wow, what a start. One is already back on position.
Waru Monzemon. Oh. The sewn together teddy bear. Yeah, that's some pretty interesting ideas for Digimon as well. And yeah, some of the design ideas they have for Pokemon might be pretty interesting as well.
We're straight up the outside.
Coming through now, you can feel the adrenaline surging, but they're keeping everything tight for a super lap.
Yeah, on the subject of Digimon, I did see that they were gonna make like a digital version of the current Digimon trading card game. I need to see if there's like more news on that, because
Nice, Alex, just here.
depending on how things pan out, I might wanna give that a look. I've heard like the actual TCG itself is like pretty interesting. Like the way they handle resources and how turns work and everything like that. Hopefully it goes over pretty well into the digital media. I forget the name, but wasn't one Digimon a living cactus like a lingo? I think you're right. I do recall a Digimon like that.
This kind of early action in the Grid World Series. Under control, real committed to the work. Brilliant.
Is there a name? Was it like Cactus Spawn? Can't be right. That feels like it'd be too obvious.
Check that out. That's pure skill.
Pricklymon? Or maybe like a more esoteric name for cactus?
Can anyone beat it?
No.
Keeping it on the line.
As far as Digimon goes, I like watched the first 4 series of it and then I kind of dropped off. The last one I watched was like the Sentai like one where they transformed into Digimon. I thought it was a cool idea, but apparently, from what I've read, that my opinion is not the popular one. Which I get, you know, like part of the fun of Digimon is like watching the humans travel together with the Digimon, you know. And when you remove the Digimon from the equation, it kind of makes things different. And depending on what you like about that, it's for better or worse. It also suffered from that shonen problem where the main characters get all like the cool power-ups and the side characters eventually get sidelined and turn into combat commentators. Got really, really egregious towards the end there. Right? It's like main guy and edgy guy gets all the cool stuff and the other 4 were like, nah, they just stand by and go, oh, that's so cool, oh my god! They totally broke that attack, oh no, they're falling. Stuff like that. Togemon, it's the one complete with boxing gloves. Huh. Now that you think about it, cacti and boxing gloves seem to combo together quite a bit. Or is that just me? Am I imagining that? Like I could think of a few other characters that are cacti with boxing gloves. Maybe I'm just like thinking of plants and boxing gloves in general. Could be that. Looks like XP to next level is just holding steady at 7,000. Don't know if that increases or not. Man, I want to go back to like the old Grid 2019 videos and just see, you know, if the XP required to reach next level increased over time. It probably has. It's been so long that I forgot what it was like. All right, off to the next. Go next. Oh, speaking of next, I did see further confirmation that Cyberpunk 2077 sequel is in the works. I guess it makes sense. They did say they were wrapping up development on the first 2077 a while ago, like following the DLC. It's in as good of a state as it gets, so hopefully they've been able to
Hey everybody, you've been making a lot of noise out there.
take the lessons from the first game to heart, and the second Cyberpunk game will come out of the gate swinging. Here's hoping they just like hit a home run right out the gate, or at the very least, you know, not come out busted. That's as much as we can ask for, you know.
Come on, I think you've hit them one too many times.
Not like a good comeback story as much as the next person, but Cyberpunk that just like hits all the notes, right? It's all the notes from day one. Really good. Just do a clear obscure, basically, right? Just like have a really cool setting and just like be working right out of the gate, and you'll probably go pretty far. I certainly haven't heard any problems with like clear obscure on the technical
You're keeping
side.
up with the pace.
You know, apart from like, oh, my system's not powerful enough to run it, but that's just like the thing that PC games run into in general. I wonder if I should probably try like the new benchmark test for that before I maybe get the ball rolling for clear obscure in general. Just like see if I can run it alright first. I feel like that should be just a standard thing for PC games, right? Like some sort of thing that lets you maybe do a benchmark for it, like, alright, can you run this game? And if you can, like, what should the settings be to give you the best experience? For me, at least, I used to like keep things at medium because I like a good frame rate. But I feel like even these days, you know, with the newer games, I have to put it down even low if I want to get this thing running remotely smooth. Luckily, South of Midnight was pretty good in that regard, but
All right, listen, you just gone past the halfway stage of the race.
I've seen videos for Claire Obscure, seeing how detailed and everything is. Just, I really want to play that game, and I hope I can do that while also running all my streaming software and stuff. If it means I gotta play that game on the lowest possible settings, so be it. I can run it website was a godsend when I had a potato PC.
2 laps left.
Yeah, barring anything else, I guess having a third-party website that can give you a general idea if you can run something or not. I was thinking of like an in-game benchmark sort of option, but that would require you to buy the game to begin with. Yeah, depending on where you get it, that could be a trickier prospect.
Last lap.
I guess if you get it on Steam, it's not too bad because you can refund it if you haven't played it for money, right? So it's like if you buy it, run benchmark, realize you can't run it, then it's like, okay, I want a refund, and I want a refund because I ran the benchmark and realized my game wouldn't be able to run this, or my PC wouldn't be able to run this. had this rig for like 4 years. You know, it's still a pretty good rig, right? Thankfully, I'm playing like mostly older games, so I haven't run into problems yet. But probably in a bit, I'll probably have to look towards updating my machine. Kind of funny to think about. Probably won't be too hard to either find new parts or just you know, get a new pre-built entirely, one way or another. No one else is at bronze level yet. They're all purple. I'm the only bronze player. Everyone else in the lobby's probably like, look at this fella. Are they in here to just like pub stomp the lower level folks?
Now, where it'll all be decided. Kristen, tell me what's gonna happen. And I've just been told the race is seconds away from
current setup is
out.
GPU and CPU wise is 3 years. The rest is almost 8 years. Oh,
Straight into the action.
wow.
Into turn 1.
Almost seems wild to think about, but again, if you're not like the type of person who wants to play all the latest AAA games, you're probably in a good spot, right? Granted, that's like, if you are, then things will be different, but hopefully then people will develop the game such that it'll still run even if you have like a very aged setup. Aged in tech terms, anyway. I was about to say, yeah, but then I remembered, oh right, no, I'm someone who plays Forza Horizon and Forza Motorsport. Who am I to talk, right? Yes, I played 2023, almost day of release. Yeah, that game is like
leading the race.
It was a real looker. You put all the settings up to high, it'll definitely eat up all that power. Main thing was the GPU and processor and cooling. Yeah, that makes sense, right? The heart of the system, as it were. VTubers is probably even crazier, right? Or maybe like just streamers in general. Like obviously VTubers have to put in things like YouTube Studio and you know all the extra applications that let you do the cool effects, but streamers in general still have to run things like OBS and you know, the video capture, video record, maybe other things like that. Fairly beefy PC. Thing is, when you upgrade stuff, you get all the bloatware with the new programs. Oh yeah, that's true, right? Depending on where you get it, they might stuff it full of things you don't want. I guess it depends on the retailer. And oh, there's a whole Windows 11 thing too. Imagine any new pre-built will probably come with 11 pre-installed in. I've heard enough horror stories with Windows 11 that even with Windows 10 reaching the end of support pretty soon, I still don't know. I'm not looking forward to the day in which I have to move to Windows 11. Such a weird thing to think about. It feels like Windows, at least, seems to go through like a cycle of pretty rad operating system and absolutely garbage operating system, right? It alternates one after another. I feel like it hasn't really broken that cycle, right? Like XP was really awesome, and then Vista sucked ass, and then Windows 7 was like pretty awesome. I feel like 8 was awful.
Okay, you got 2 laps.
And then, which I think, did they do Windows 9? I forget what the opinion was on Windows 9, but I remember 10 was like, at the start, not having the best reputation, but eventually turned into something okay. And you get Windows 11, where even 2 years later, people are still very, very negative about it. It's just certainly makes one wonder, like, why upgrade operating systems anyway? Like, you know, in the old days, it felt like a necessity because they did add, like, significant new features and everything, but I can't remember, like, what the big innovations were from.
Intact.
Give me a minute here. Whew, okay. Alright, I think I've recovered. Did it go down the wrong pipe? Yeah. That thing. It's like, needed to get some water, and then the water's like, It happens. Always happens. It sucks when it happens to that degree, too. It's like just gotta put everything on hold. Alright, we were close to the end of the race, thank goodness. Alright. XP was top-notch with the games it had with it. Felt like where it hit its stride with, like, the everything, right? Like, it was a good design, had all the apps you would need to kind of, you know, at least do the basic things, and you know, enough features that didn't feel like, you know, superfluous or anything like that. Went from XP to 7, then to 10 and 11 when you upgraded your GPU. Wow. I mean, it's another thing, right? You could probably skip a step here or there. One of the biggest gripes with Windows is that the updates and stuff take half a day to download and install. Yeah. And it felt like random when they would kind of tell you, "Hey, do you wanna like do the update now?" Especially when that period, right? The period that everyone hated, like, will just like randomly pop up. Yeah, okay, we're gonna start your update in 3 minutes unless you tell it to delay. You know, you do that enough times, eventually it just goes, okay, you're not getting a choice anymore. You get like 3 minutes before the update happens, whether you like it or not, and people were not a fan of that. But yeah, I noticed that too, right? Occasionally when I would, use my computer for the day, and loading and stuff would get slower, and then at that point I would realize, oh yeah, they must have been downloading something in the background, right? They tried to make it all seamless and stuff, but they didn't quite make it. The big green start button on the bottom left, everything was intuitive. Yeah. Why do they keep messing with that?
And here we are for the first round.
We don't need to like add tiles and panels and all that stuff, right? Just give us like the menu that has served us well.
And I've just been told the race is seconds away from lights out.
I wonder if part of it was because iPhones and stuff kind of like super took off, right, with their UI that was very much icon based and one touch to start every a particular application. Because you can see they were trying to go for that with certain iterations of Windows, to have like tiles, right, the giant squares, the singular icon that did their function. And they still have that idea too with like apps as well, right?
Whoa, what are you doing?
Getting first, that's what I'm doing.
You're on pace. Make some gains in lap 2.
Your computer needs to restart to install updates on baseball. Always a fun thing to see at
Last
the
lap,
end of the
so
day.
hold the lead
Right,
through to
little
the end
dot
now.
that lets you know. Oh, updates. Okay, that's why things were a little funky for a moment there. Thankfully, I'm like the kind of person who shuts down their computer every night, so it's pretty easy to go, okay. So you just like go update the PC while I go off to bed, and then do your thing, right, while I go sleep. That was nice. Happened yesterday. I went to boot up Horizon. Your game needs to install this 3.7 gigabyte update. Sat there like, the game is dead. Why updates? You wonder, right? But feels like they still encounter bugs, right? Even if they've gone into like sort of a maintenance mode. Like there was a pretty significant bug, like I think like a month or two ago, where like when they started doing the old playlist, right? They weren't like awarding points towards the playlist, even if you completed the tasks. It was just like related to how they didn't quite anticipate that, right? So they did have like a hot fix, right? For some reason they were able to put it out pretty quickly on Steam, but it took a little longer to go out on the Xbox platforms, right? Even PC, Xbox, but thankfully they fixed that up. They even said though, like, yeah, this would be retroactive, so Right, if we reach the point where, you know, we go over into a new season and, you know, you still don't get the points, we'll retroactively give you the points and the awards you would have gotten by earning those points, so
Seconds away from lights out.
at least they were trying to make good on that, because, yeah, that would suck otherwise. I feel like if that persisted, I probably would have just dropped 5 entirely. Yeah, I heard about that. And some achievements are broken still. They are. That's also something you don't want to happen. It sucks, especially if it's like an achievement you have to jump through hoops to get, and then it's like, why didn't this pop? Especially if you go back and realize, oh, this has been a problem for a while. They just haven't fixed it for one reason or another. In that case, I probably more a case of they can't, right? Like, maybe it's like, yeah, we'd love to try to maybe dig into this and see how to fix it, but yeah, we have like these 70 other problems on this list here that we need to take care of first before we get to the achievement, which, you know, sucks. It's not the answer that you want to hear. And in an ideal world, they'd just be able to have their game working as intended and be able to kind of just go through and fix all the bugs one after another, but that's how it goes, right? Oh, the servers were down yesterday. I was playing yesterday, I must have missed it. Or if it's a rare achievement, especially if it's a rare achievement. Oh my god, that makes me wonder. Is this going to be like the same deal with trophies on PS5? Are there just some trophies that are not going to pop? I feel like that's going to be even worse. Like not having achievements pop is like already bad, but for some reason it just feels like not getting a PlayStation trophy would just be worse, you know? Like, even if the rest of the game works, right? If your meta progression system doesn't meld with it, it's just gonna, it's not great, you know? Elusive win eliminator with the starter car.
Hold the lead. Last lap.
How can anyone do that? Well, like you have to be like really good, and maybe have like a little bit of luck too. Right? Have to be at the right spot when they open up the walls for the final sprint. I mean, being a skilled driver would obviously help a lot. Only ever seen that done in Forza Horizon 4. Probably works better there because you know, the UK map is just smaller, right? With as ginormous as Mexico is in Horizon 5, right? It's like the endpoint distance is just like pretty far away, so the likelihood that a underpowered starter car is somehow gonna beat out like a rank 8 to 10 car, a lot of things are gonna have to line up for that to happen, right? It's like, yeah, skill will obviously play a factor, but even that can only take you so far, right? Like the guy driving the rank 8 to 10 car is also pretty cracked at the game, you know, and they have knowledge of the map. It's gonna be an uphill battle, right? The brake light looks like a road flare going off. That's how you know it's there, right? That's how you can see it through the rain and the fog and, you know, other weather.
And we're heading into the final round now, where it'll all be decided. Kristen, tell me what's gonna happen. And I've just been told the race is seconds away from lights out. And they're off.
During the day, someone will see the rear lights as much. Oops.
I think you have to be careful now. You might have pushed them too far.
I think they have every reason to make me nemesis.
Looks like they put them there. And they've taken them. Great overtake there.
Navigating those forests in Forza Horizon 4 was a nightmare on the final eliminator race when you're in a super rush. Any sort of high-speed forest chases. Nail-biter. Reminds me of like one bucket list challenge I made in Forza Horizon 3 that was just basically, you know, get to the other point in a certain amount of time, but I put it right through a forest. And because I managed to like just bob and weave my way through it, the time was like really short, so you had to bob and weave your way through it too. Like one of my friends actually remarked on it. They were like, "Hey, you know, that was like a pretty cool challenge, right? Just trying to bob and weave through all those trees." It was my finest moment as a right there. I peeped at that moment. Especially at night. Oh yeah, especially at night. Hey, radio guy, he got in the way. He rolled over. Every tree is in there. Every tree is in there.
Great first lap. You're leading the
Still
race.
holds true to this day. Why does my car just like get drawn to trees every time I'm trying to do a turn here? Like what the heck? There's like a mile between both sides of the tree, and for some reason my car is like, no, what if I go into the tree? Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Like, there has to be intention, right? They just like play tested that turn just like 100 times and they were like, ah, yeah. So, according to the heat data we got from people making this turn, if we put a tree here, that means a lot of people are gonna drive into it. And that's gonna be really, really funny. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they don't do that. That's just me imagining things in my head. Super 7 like that starts on the volcano and you have to get the Playa Azul house. Ah. Fun time too. Coming down the mountain. They come. They'll be coming down the mountain when they come. Different context, but yeah.
Final lap.
They were
That
probably
lead
like that when
intact.
they came up with the Ekbalam cross-country race. Yeah. They had like the two races that were very specifically downhill jam kind of races that were just, yeah, we're going to start you off with racing down the side of the mountain. To be completely fair to them, though, you always got to have at least one of those, right? That's just a fun time. Just a high-speed downhill jam type of segment. asked as what Magic Horizon uses to magically make temples and stuff disappear. You can't drive any cross-country route in free roam because of monuments or trees, etc. It's always interesting when that happens. I will say it's like pretty amusing when you get like the special eliminator version of a map that just eliminates all of the festivals, so that you don't have like as many things in the way when you're just driving around the map. But it's pretty amusing to think about, right? It's like for this big region-wide event, they just had like everyone pack the things up and move them off-site. Like, way off-site? Really, really far off-site? Or maybe just, like, put them on Hot Wheels Island temporarily. I don't know. Like, everyone's had their fun with that, so, you know, just put a box here and a box there, right? The places where people are less likely going to travel through. Yeah, even then you're guaranteed to get beach or flip on rocks when blasting across the Mexico map. It's like, what is with that, right? Why is like pepper random spots with rocks anyway? I don't know. That seems kind of weird. Might be just me though. Well, no. Alright. We've finished off Classic. We've made a good amount of progress, right? More than we did last time when we were in sort of a similar position, right? And I think the stream has actually held too, right? As far as I can tell, there weren't any disconnects or anything like that, so that probably helped a lot too. A lot of progress tonight. Copper Canyon, right? Yeah. Like, do we need random rocks? Do we need random stuff? The crew too was kind of lousy with that too, right? Especially in like the more desert-esque areas where you would hope that you'd be able to just, you know, lean on the accelerator. No, you gotta watch out for the rocks that are just gonna completely stop you in your tracks for some reason. And they're not gonna signpost them. They're just gonna be little tiny rocks that you can't see until you hit them. You just gotta know that they're there, right? You just gotta race that race a bunch of times and know that there's gonna be a rocky section. You gotta weave your way through it. Yeah. Sometimes I wish you could just not contend with that, but yeah. Yep, it's all been good. That's been wonderful to hear. So that means we'll have a nice complete VOD. But yeah. We've been going for a while. We've made some good progress. So next week we'll finish off the modern series. We'll probably get through Track Day GT, and I guess depending on how things go, we might even start on season 3. Right? We might be able to make a little inroads in that. But for now, I think I'll go ahead and call it here. Have a good night. Yeah, you have yourself a good night, a good morning, good tomorrow. Thanks for hanging out, and thanks to everyone who came by and hung around and chatted. And even if you just lurked, I appreciate each and every one of you. I'll be back on Friday, where we'll continue Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker. Last we left off, Valtrade Suplex to Train, right? Now we got ourselves access to a few more areas. We're gonna take on some evil doppelgangers and see where that leads us. I hope you look forward to that. Let's look for someone to raid, shall we? Let me go to the YouTube video here. We'll just start this menu music loop up again. Here. Have some background music. Enjoy it. know what really amuses me? I feel like a few people I've raided into recently have asked me, so how did you find me, right? Because the game I play and the games they play sometimes don't match, so I guess they would be curious about that. They usually just go to chat and like, yeah, I'm searching under the femboy tag and you look like you were playing something interesting, so I went to you. And they were like, oh, ah. Some people were more surprised than others. But it's always a good time. I mentioned it somewhere else, but I feel like some people just have like a femboidar, you know? Just have a femboidar, you know? Like someone who's in the femboys, you kind of seek out other femboys, you know? I think I've actually found some. This might actually be a quick one. Funny thing about this game, I remember doing the demo for this a while ago. I was like, oh yeah, you know, it comes out. I put the VOD up on YouTube, think nothing more of it until I go back to it one day and just see, oh, what? Wait, what? Right? It's like suddenly got like a lot more views, right? And I think the short I did for this game also got a bunch more views. And then I was like wondering, I wonder what happened. And then I go, oh, okay, the game came out recently. That might explain a bit. Right, I imagine that probably happens with a lot of recent releases where it's like people probably jump onto YouTube or something to go, okay, give me videos related to this game, right? And then it just like pops up. Okay, let's see if this guy has raids open. Alright, looks like they do. Perfect. Raid message tonight. This is Miss Nights. Grand Raid. And to give context to everything I was talking about earlier, the fellow we're raiding into is Space Turtle 20, because they are playing Drop Dutchie. Remember when I played Drop Dutchie? Yeah. It was a funny thing I noted, right? Just like all the views of my videos just like kind of spiked, right? Like I looked up my stats and was like, oh yeah, this your Drop Dutchie videos got like a bunch of views in the past 48 hours. Like, huh? Wonder what happened. Oh, the full release happened. That's what. Anyways, this game is pretty cool, and you imagine, you know, pretty challenging too. So let's go over there and give Space Turtle our support. If you're joining on the raid, give them Grid Raid. And if not, have a good rest of your week. I'll see you on Friday for more Sea of Stars, Throes of the Watchmaker. Take care. Yeah, that was like, what? 3.5 hours, right? To do 3 sort of longer series and then kind of do all like the shorter series in the next area. Does make me wonder. We'll probably get through everything, right? We'll get through the rest of Season 2. Wonder how long that will take. And then how far can we get into Season 3? If at all. Alright, see ya.